treated like a conquered colony, and that's coming from Amechi. Fulani vigilante group requests Southeast treated like a conquered colony. Amechi is the one speaking there. You find that story in the Vanguard newspaper. And 2019 polls 60 presidential candidates back INEC over server. Of course, they're the ones saying insistence inspecting INEC server is a plot to discredit election. Presidential aspirants tell PDP and Atiku. So let's just get to the stories proper now. And we have also joining us on the show, Fine Face Fine Face, the public affairs analyst and Mosop spokesperson. Good to have you with
Annie.
us.
Good morning, Nigerians.
And Daniel Momo is also here with us. Daniel Momo, good to see you. Good morning. All right, so from the Vanguard newspaper, I did not say kidnapping is over-exaggerated. Osibanjo is the one speaking. Of course, this was supposed to have happened in New York, where he met Nigerians in diaspora and the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence. And he's saying that I did not say that kidnapping in Nigeria is exaggerated and not entirely new. Osibanjo, in a statement on Tuesday, said he was entirely misquoted, and his words taken out of context in the said media reports, especially those that quoted him as saying that kidnapping in Nigeria is exaggerated and not entirely new. Osibanjo, in a town hall meeting in New York on Sunday, said the social media tends to be hysterical about practically everything. According to the Vice President, I really will urge that you don't rely entirely for information on social media. I think that the social media tends to be hysterical about practically everything. I think there's also a lot of politics involved in some of the information as it comes up. I think it's also important to point out this new wave of issues of security came immediately after elections, and there's always a connection between the issue of security and elections, because many times politicians arm several of these individuals during electioneering period, and immediately after an election cycle, many of them have nothing to do, and with arms all over the place resort to the fastest way of making money, which is to abduct somebody and ask for ransom. And that is just one side of the problem. But let me dimension it so that you can really understand it better. When people say there is a security problem here and there, it is not one thing. It is several different things. But if it is described as one thing, then it will look bigger than it really is. And I'm deeply worried about the fact that we might not find ourselves unable to resolve these problems unless we drill down to see what the problems are. With respect to general kidnapping, which we have seen in certain parts of the country, again, this is not entirely new. When you listen to some of the stories, some of them are simply not true anyway. Some are fueled by politics, but they are cases of kidnapping. There is no question at all about that. And every story we try to track and trace. When you track them, you find out that these people just tell some stories, but the truth anyway is that there's kidnapping in places where it has taken place. All right. But he says, look, I've been majorly misquoted. I didn't say that kidnapping in Nigeria is exaggerated. I was particular about what they read on social media and say people are hysterical about almost everything on social media. And so when people get their information from social media, they should take those kind of information with a pinch of salt. For him, that's what he meant. Man want to quit.
Yeah, I think I cannot decode what Usiba just said there so far as meaning that kidnapping in Nigeria is exaggerated. I can't decode it that way. You know, everybody has his interpretative ingenuity. But my own is not towards Usiba just saying kidnapping is exaggerated. As a matter of fact, he was very blunt in saying that in areas it happens, some of them is not in doubt. Kidnapping occur. Kidnapping happens. But that in some of them, when you try to find out the reality behind them, it will be stories. And of course, it's been happening. There's no doubt about it. But like Osiba just said, there is kidnapping, or there are kidnappings everywhere in Nigeria. Very specific. I wouldn't know who said he said it's exaggerated. No, I don't know. I don't know how they interpret that.
All right, then. First in a minute.
I know that one or two kidnappings happen across the country. And I know quite well that a lot of kidnappings are pointed towards the South, the Niger Delta, and what have you. But then it is also replicating itself in other parts of the country. But I do not think that people will just come to social media or mainstream media and start writing about kidnapping that never happened. But we've heard cases of these kidnappings actually happening. But when investigation is launched into the kidnapping, some turn out to be fake, some turn out to have been, stage managed by the person that is involved so that he can get money from his or her relatives and what have you. But these kidnappings happen. The only difference that has happened between what we know before and what is happening now is the fact that social media is making information about this kidnapping to go viral. So majority of the kidnappings are actually something that happened and not anything exaggeration.
All right, okay. Daniel Momo, what about you? What are your thoughts here?
You see, when I heard the story and yesterday night, what I tried to do is to at least get a video of what he said. And in all of what I watched, I didn't see or I didn't hear anywhere where he used the word forced exaggeration. What he was trying to explain was that, yes, these things exist. And I think that also what he also did not point out was that kidnapping has now moved to areas where we never before knew that this issue of kidnapping would get to. And, for any government who goes out that way, you don't expect him also to play it so high that you think that he's speaking to business people, he's speaking to the world there. And so what do you expect him to say? But the context of the fact that people now took it and the social media took it to say that he said that it's exaggerated in Nigeria. I watched the video throughout. I didn't hear anywhere where the man mentioned that. But he really didn't, play it to the level at which, like I said,
a lot of people expected him.
Yes, we now experience kidnapping in places where you never thought before that kidnapping would actually take place. They're happening now.
Annie,
Yes.
I'm not in government, but if I go to America and people, let's say Nigerians, they ask me, I will not say that kidnapping is everywhere in Nigeria. I cannot say that. And it's not true to say it that way. Even though
I'm not saying it's everywhere.
No, I'm not saying about what you say. Even though Sibajo didn't go down to say, in some areas we had not been having such before, but they are there. The fact is that he said that it's not in that we have kidnappings in Nigeria. And although he didn't use exaggeration, people could also coin that up. There's no doubt about it, by their own understanding. So what they have come up is that since he's saying that not all cases are kidnapping that are real in Nigeria, so he's saying it's exaggerated. But I'm saying their own way of interpreting issues are very wrong for me.
But you would have seen statements issued by the so-called people who are supposed to even understand are actually quoting the word using the bracket comma open and close, saying that he used the word exaggeration. And I said, when you see these things on social media, why don't you look for the video before you even issue the statement?
All right. Okay, let's move on. I did not say kidnapping in Nigeria is exaggerated. That story is
He didn't.
in the Vanguard newspaper. But meanwhile, you have the Niger Delta and then Pandef, actually, Middle Belt and Ohanese groups who are pretty upset with the vice president over that statement. So let me just jump to that story on Ohanese, Pandef and the Middle Belt Forum, who are upset that the vice president downplayed the spate of kidnappings in Nigeria while he was out there. Funny enough, we're very quick to say you shouldn't downplay kidnappings when you're out there, and then angry when we're out there again and we say we're very corrupt, or we agree that we're very corrupt.
They would demarcate ourselves.
All right, good. Yeah. But anyways, let's get.
So we market ourselves and we say
Middle Belt Forum others blast Osibanjo over comments and kidnapping. Says here the Afenifere, the Yoruba social political group, yesterday blasted the vice president, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, over his comment that the kidnapping stories in the country were not only exaggerated but also fueled by politics. This came as Apex Igbo social cultural organization Haneze Ndibo dared the vice president to shed his security guards and walk the streets of Kano, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kebbi, Gombe, among others, while the Middle Belt Forum said it sympathized with him for feigning ignorance of the high level of kidnapping in the country. Speaking to a gathering of Nigerians in New York last Sunday, Professor Subajo was quoted by the news agency of Nigeria as saying, with respect to general kidnapping, which was seen in parts of the country, again, this is not entirely new. In fact, some of the kidnapping stories you read or listen to are simply not true anywhere. Some are fueled by politics. Mr. Sibanjo was reported as saying by the state-run news agency of Nigeria. However, the presidency stated last night that Vice President Yemi Sibanjo never used the word exaggerated when he spoke in New York on the security situation in Nigeria. In any which case, these groups of people are upset. And they say he should have said it is really bad. What we have going on there is terrible, and that perhaps government is dealing with the issues. Maybe that would have been a better approach. Admit that you have this problem and that you're ingenious in your ways of tackling it now. It has existed for long, but it has metamorphosed into what it is now. And so you have to come up with new strategies. Perhaps this will have appealed to everybody.
Well, there will always be expectations of what one should have done better after any event. But, spectators always find it easier to play football more than even those who are the footballers themselves. If you watch when a football is on, before the footballer will play, you see people falling outside because they are playing ahead of him. That is the way it is. So Ohaneze, Afenifere, and Middle Belt people, they certainly have stated their mind the way they understand it. But I never, from what you read there, heard that Osibajo said kidnappings in Nigeria is exaggerated. I also know that Osibajo couldn't have gone the whole hog in explaining everything about kidnapping just because of that simple question. For me, he said it the way I particularly would have just said it. It is, see, remember when Buhari went to somewhere, he mentioned, he didn't even say the youths in Nigeria are lazy. There's a way he said it. I can't remember exactly. But we capitalized on that. He was demarcating us. So if Osibajo has said, in fact, if you enter any side at all, like they are saying, let him walk on the street of Kano, Port Harcourt, all the rest of them, if he had mentioned that, so he would have been marketing Nigeria. That's what it means.
All right. Okay. 5:15 a minute.
Yeah, the people speaking here, the Niger Delta elders and the elders of the Middle Belt, are those whose legs are in these shoes. They know where it is inching them. But whatever it is, I think that whether he uses that word or not, a lot of people know what is happening here. And there is one thing I noticed: when you are out of this place, you will know that the little thing that happens here is talked about more outside than here that you are. Even when you are in Abuja or Lagos, or you are focused around the country, you will see that when an incident of kidnapping or any other acts, ungodly act happens, people discuss a lot in that area. So I think that the people speaking here are those whose legs are really in the shoes. And whatever it is, I think what they are saying is not far from what is. But now the vice president should have been able to tell us how his administration and that of Buhari, which they are joining to run, is working towards resolving and tackling these problems for investors to come in and invest without having issues.
All right. Daniel Momo.
What's the yardstick of measuring security in the country? That Ohaneze and others are saying, which of the president in Nigeria can dare walk the streets without security? Even a common local government chairman, who among them? A state governor, who among them? So is that the yardstick to measure the fact that there is security or not? I remember when Buhari first came on board, he asked his security's details and entourage to always respect traffic. This man, the former ambassador, whether Bolaji something, said no, that he cannot subject himself to wait for traffic, this thing, that he does not, that he drives as a nation himself. So what is the yardstick to measure security? Okay, because there was kidnapping, and so other presidents before now has been walking the street free. Right. Presidents who fly into states like this, in fact, an hour before they even come, the road is clear. Nobody follow that road. So it is now that we now know that the president must dare walk the streets before we know that there is security. Come on.
Okay, well, that's Ohaneze Pandif and Middle Belt Forum and others blasting Osibanjo over comments on kidnapping. And then Okorocha left bitter legacies. That's what Ihedioha is saying. You get that story in the Vanguard newspaper. The Imo State Governor, Emeka Ihedioha, on Tuesday said that he discovered his predecessor, Rochas Okorocha, has left bitter legacies people of the state will not want to be associated with. The governor's chief of staff, Chris Okwelunu, through his media advisor, Kennedy Uweama, spoke in a way while reacting to a claim by Okorocha that the Ihedioha government has launched the destruction of his legacies. Ihedioha insisted that he will follow due process in addressing what he said were the problems created by Okorocha as it regards any form of mismanagement of the state resources, adding that by Okorocha's policies and programs, the people of the state were further impoverished in 8 years. He said that his priority is to rebuild Imo project, included to the end the 8 years traumatic experience of Imo people in the hands of Okorocha by reviving and making functional all sectors of the economy of the state in order to boost the revenue generation of Imo State. He said it by saying Okorocha's statement is a calculated and cheap gimmick aimed at distracting the governor in order to cajole him into succumbing to the baseless accusations of witch hunt by his predecessor, so as to create a leeway for him to escape accounting for his 8 years of horrific stewardship here in Imo State. Emmanuel.
You see, the problem there is that every dog, as it were, must have its own day. Simple. So as he heard is now warming up to probe this and that. Let him go ahead because he has the right to do so. But let him also remember, someday he will be under probe like Okorocha. If Okorocha, all that Okorocha has left was bitter, whatever is called, let him walk in a way that when he leaves and is under the radar for probe, it will be a sweet lesson or whatever, or legacies. That is all I can say. Every dog, indeed, must have his own day.
What do you think here, Francis?
It is unfortunate to me, if you ask me, that Ihedioha, the governor, is going about his governance this way. We could see how he could not even wait for the tenure of Okorocha to end. He started making advances and governing the state before he was even sworn in. Now he has been in and is destroying the legacy of the previous administration. When we talk about development is not an instant thing. And it is not something that is done one day, say this state has been developed or this place has been developed. It is a process that can never ever end any day. Even America is in the process of development. So I think what Ihedioha should do is to work the one he could do, building on what the other administration had done, and go, look, we have been in this country, and I know that he belongs to the PDP, and the PDP had been telling the APC-led federal government that they should forget about blame game, blaming previous administration and go about their development. I think at the state level now, I want to call on him to forget about this issue of blaming, and go about his development. Just a few weeks ago, we heard about 30 billion or 30 million or what, that 300 million that he used to renovate what I don't understand. That was a wasteful spending, if you ask me. And he has started on that note, and he cannot come down and do his work. He should settle down and do his work and forget about this trading of blames.
All right, what do you think, Daniel?
Well, from what you read, there are really no specific. It's just a wide allegation. Every government, you either inherit asset or liability or both. And let him go and check the UN report in the Southeast under Rochas Okorocha has the highest enrollment in education in the whole of Southeast.
Yes.
The highest enrollment of education in the whole of Southeast. Let him go and check. Are you saying Okorocha didn't build infrastructures in Imo State? In Imo State?
Massive.
No! Yes, there are certain things he did that for me, they are just very funny. And that is human being. And so you either inherit asset or liability or both. So the people has rejected the choice that the former governor has brought, and they have brought you in. So sit down and govern these people. Don't tell me stories. There are things that the man has done that you can never forget. People in the state can never forget. And so what is the blame game all about?
Right. Okay. Move away from blame games, I guess. Okorocha left bitter legacies. Well, they said their response is because Okorocha himself too said that all Ihedioha is trying to do is destroy the legacies he left behind. So their retort to that was, well, your legacies are bitter. Right. Let's get to another caption here. This caption here says, your insistence to inspect INEC server, a plot to discredit election. Presidential aspirants tell PDP and Atiku. 60 presidential candidates in the 2019 election have declared their support to the Independent National Electoral Commission over the latter's stance that he had no server to record results of the election. The candidate at a joint press conference in Abuja yesterday insisted that the commission's position was not wrong, given that there was no provision in the law that mandated it to have a server for the election. To this end, they berated the opposition, People's Democratic Party, and its candidate in the election, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, for insisting access to the server, saying the demand was uncalled for, given that all political parties and their candidates in the pool were notified by the commission prior to the election that it would not adopt full electoral voting in the 2019 general election. Speaking under the aegis of the joint forum of 60 presidential candidates, they said the insistence of PDP and Atiku to inspect the server was a plot to discredit the election, as political parties never agreed with INEC in any of the several pre-election meetings that results would be transmitted electronically.
Well, I think they should understand it more than myself, who is not one of them. If there were no time that they had meeting with INEC, and INEC said the system was that elections, the results will be transmitted electronically, and that means INEC could be exonerated for his claim of not having a server. But you see, to say that Atiku is trying to discredit election, I disagree, A to Z. If they were server, because remember, INEC has come out and said, we don't have a server. Now, if they were an Atiku, the law enables whoever to look at that server. Atiku has every right. Except otherwise, they are saying that the law bars such. And if the law doesn't, Atiku has right to look at it. Election can only be discredited if it was also a discredited result. Because if election is the way it should be, the results are the way it should be, there is no discrediting of it. So you cannot discredit what is not discreditable. So I'm telling you, so that angle I don't understand at all.
All right then. Fine Face.
I read about the meeting of these 60 presidential aspirants, and I know each of these presidential aspirants are also coming from one and each political parties. And I was wondering that we have 60 of these people, despite those who stepped down and this and that and that. Well, they are coming together to talk about this issue. Is important because they are key stakeholders in the process. But I know quite well that INEC knows whether or not they transmitted result to the server. And if the court had ordered that they should produce that, and they have, I think they should be able to do. But if they are saying it is not non-existent, then I believe that the courts still knows what to do. Why working according to the prayers of the other, aspirants of the PDP. So whatever it is, I think they need to do whatever they can do to make the process not look like something that is being manipulated and discredited as they are trying to put it.
All right then. Okay, we got your thoughts there.
And it is time to chop. Why would you come up to say, why don't you state your own fact? State your position. Why try to pressure another person to leave the place he believed that he was wrongly cheated out of the process? Why do that? Oh, this is our position. State that and go. Why now delve into the fact that Atiku wants to do what? Let the court decide that. They're already in court. The man didn't take bow and arrow to go and fight anybody. He has gone to court to say, no, I have been cheated. Let us look at the server. If INEC is saying they don't have a server that has that result, let the court decide. So for me, Annie, all these 60 political parties exist for all of. It's time to come and chop.
All right. What is there to chop anyways now?
It's time to come and chop.
Okay. Moving on, another story here in the Vanguard newspaper. Tinubu Yoruba elders, I think Yoruba leaders meet Buhari in Aso Rock over killings in Southwest. Says here that National Leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and some leaders of the Yoruba Social Cultural Group Afenifere yesterday met with President Muhammadu Buhari on the rising rate of insecurity in the Southwest. The group also demanded that the government should implement true federalism as enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution rather than behaving as champions of the smaller units. This is as the president once again explained to his guests while he had to deal with the former Chief Justice of the Federation, CJN Justice Walter Onogen, stressing that some Nigerians will swear with Almighty God that their property does not belong to them until when their bank accounts and their companies they hide and refuse to declare were shown to them. The Afenifere were all led in courtesy visit by Senator Olabi Durojaye, said that they were at the State House to rejoice with the President and Vice President for their re-election for a second term. Presenting a number of demands to the president, Senator Durojaye said it was worthwhile to take a bold step in combating crime and improving on security by improving on the apparent shortage of manpower in the Nigerian police force and by extending control of the police from the state to local government level. According to him, by this, we humbly request that Mr. President should reflect deeply and consider recruitment, training, equipment, and deployment of the Nigerian police on the basis of 774 local governments listed in the first schedule of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Added to this is a training of the general public on the need to improve on their individual vigilance and awareness of movements of strangers passing through or moving into their neighborhood. All right, Emmanuel, he says what they went there for was one, demanding the government should implement true federalism as enshrined in the Nigerian constitution rather than behaving as champions of smaller units, and were particular about the spate of killings, especially in the southwest, and clamored for security apparatus to be devolved to local governments. And they were saying that one of the reasons why they were having the crisis they had now was because of poor manpower in the Nigerian police force. And if perhaps their recruitments could be based on local governments and maybe center the police force in a way where it captures all the 774 local governments, might be a better way to approach the matter.
Yeah, silent calls. I must call that. But the president didn't answer anything on federalism. I didn't hear that at all. Rather, he waded into an organ sack and all that. I don't understand. The Yoruba elders never mentioned anything about Onogen. The one they mentioned...
Well, I guess what he wanted to talk about, what he really was trying to hint at, was that people will swear that they don't have the property they do that belongs to them until their bank accounts and companies show that these things are theirs. Perhaps he was trying to say something to them.
Is that why the killings exist in the Southwest? I don't understand. But for me, I think they mentioned federalism. They mentioned the devolution of power, which more or less is encompassed in federalism. But the president, if the president had mentioned anything along that line, what would have found out whether he's yielding his position? Because all along, he had not accepted that position. But not stating it in a way that you say, no, he's against that, will always lead you through the National Assembly, which is on this issue of restructuring, because that's what restructuring and all of them are meant to stand for. But if the president just kept mute on this issue or this demand, I don't know what to go for now. What did they achieve from that meeting? No promises, at least. That's what government is adept at. If you go, bring your positions and government will make promises, okay, we are going to deal with this and that. But I didn't hear it there. But whatever be the case, the president had received them, perhaps will act later as they had left.
All right, then. Fanface.
That visit was a good one because I know that is what is expected of elders of each of the zones, if you ask me. And the opportunity of the visit is basically not only to rejoice with the president and the vice president and, of course, whoever is also involved at that level, but to use the opportunity to know what the government has in stock for them in the next administration. And they have put some things on the table. And the president seems not to have addressed any of the issues they have brought to the table in the process of parleying with him and congratulating him. He talked about what needed not to have been talked about. If you hadn't got the Onogen case, he brought in because he wanted to point at property people not having and then they have when it's shown to them. It's not very key. I think the issue of security, state police and local government police, they also mentioned, and the fact that the Southwest was under siege is something he ought to have talked about, and the effort his administration is putting in place to address those issues. I know they are also doing one or two things, but each of these opportunities should be used to make a kind of categorical policy statement that will be developed further to the National Assembly if some needs to go through that way for these issues to come down. But I know that there are many days ahead, but this very opportunity of the meeting was not fruitful for the leaders that visited him.
All right, Daniel Momo.
You know, what they presented, I don't expect the president to give them a yes or a no. They have presented to him. They have given to him what they documented. And so maybe he would forward it to the relevant body. But I would also advise the Afenifere elders to, because the president also set up a committee on, was it state police now, to look at the police structure itself. So they can also do well to submit any of those documents to those people there. But for me, it's just a courtesy visit where you don't expect serious
Deliberations,
discussions,
yeah.
of course, and then but at that, it's still a welcome development.
All right, then. We're moving on from that. The story here in the Vanguard newspaper still says here that arms. Hold on just a moment. Arms surrender story by ex-governor Mosun. And it says the above story by Premium Times, an online news portal, represented everything but the true and factual accounts regarding a routine exercise that took place at the Ogun State Governor's office, Abeokuta, in the morning of Tuesday, 28 May 2019, as part of handing over processes and formalities from the then outgoing to the incoming administration. It is rather interesting and ironic that the routine, bona fide, and patriotic disposition of the Senator Ibukule Amosun CON or FCA, has been savagely twisted in a premeditated effort by Premium Times and its sponsors to stand logic on its head. It is important to clarify that not a single AK-47 rifle was handed over at the event. Two, Senator Ibukule Amosun would have loved to ignore this report for the simple reason that it is a matter for the remit of the police and security agencies. But that course of action would appear disrespectful to well-meaning stakeholders and inquirers on the matter. Secondly, the good people of Ogun State and Nigerians at large deserve to know the exact circumstances of handing over of these security items. It is important to stress that this was not the first time that Senator Amosun, whilst in office as governor and former chief security officer of Ogun State, will be handing over security assets to the police. The particular exercise of 28 May 2019 was done openly in the full glare of the public and the media to ensure accountability, guarantee transparency, and judicious use of the assets. In May 21st, when Senator Amosun assumed office, the biggest challenge that confronted Ogun State was insecurity. Political assassinations, unnatural and unexplained deaths were prevalent. In Ogun East, for instance, which comprised of 9 of the 20 local government areas at the time, the entire business and financial institutions architecture had become comatose, as no bank or institution will open for business in the entire senatorial district. Cultism, kidnapping for ransom, violent crime, and tertiary institutions related criminality stank to high heavens. All right, let me just skip to that. The SIA administration convened a security parley amongst all stakeholders. The parley gave rise to Ogun State Security Trust Fund under the leadership of a former Nigerian security advisor. The deliberations and recommendations of the STF and far-reaching initiatives of government has delivered consistent peace of mind, economic prosperity, and social progress for all within the borders of Ogun State and even beyond since 2012. All right, so they said they would like to educate Premium Times that there are strict procedures for the purchase, handling, storage, and documentation of security merchandise. We are satisfied that excellent approvals, regulations, and protocols were observed and complied with in this instance. Without going into details and thereby breaching conventions, suffice to say categorically that the AK-47 rifles were supplied directly to the Nigerian Police Ogun State Command. The rest of the merchandise were securely kept in the approved designated armory within the government house precincts under police surveillance as it obtains in most government lodges to guarantee exclusive use of the materials in Ogun State. These are not matters for public. All right, Mano. So what they're saying is everything they did was
Certainly
statutory.
they are not matters for the public. And whichever paper, Premium Time, as
But
they mentioned.
the handing over was done publicly.
Yes.
So it is finally a matter for public.
No, the requisite ones that should be handed over was handed over in public. That's how I understand the whole thing. See, what is the law about that? Does the law allow, for instance, a sitting governor to do what Amosu had done? That is where to go first. If that is the case, then we also should remember that Amosu could not just embark on this unilaterally without meeting the relevant quarters and obtaining all the permits. And if he did, what is Premium Times talking about? Now, I think what Amosu had done, if it were bad the way they are looking at it, the law would have stopped it here in Nigeria. He wouldn't have even reached the point of getting all those merchandise and all that. So for me, he has done what he ought to do. And that's what they are talking about, even like the Yoruba elders visit to the president. If there is federalism, the real federalism, not this quasi one we are having, you can't come and start talking about governor, looking for, let's say, whoever is in a region and all that, that you must do this. He has the authority to do such. But most important, let us understand that the laws, because he would have gotten permits before embarking on such.
Okay, what do you think?
I believe
Face.
the efforts of the governor, whatever way we look at it, is aimed at benefiting his state, and he's doing what he's doing to see how he can as well drive, the process and governance of his state. So whatever it is that has been written, I believe the governor has his reason for embarking on such action.
All right, Daniel.
Well, Annie, whatever that has been received or collected, I think for proper documentation, at what points were those things collected, and at what points were they returned? In whose custodies were those things kept? Because the basic thing there was that those things were in custody of government or through the election. Why do they have to keep it?
He said they were in the security vault in the government house, as is the same in almost every government lodge across the states. That's what he's saying.
No, that is not an ammo. For example, the commissioner of police, the division officer, the military division in Ogun State, do they have access to that vault in government house? No, they do not have it. So who keep those things? And under whose custody? Who has the access to those things? So that is why the question for me is, and the governor need to answer, the ex-governor need to answer those questions. You can't keep those things. You can't. And for how long did they have to keep those things there? There are security issues. And because what some persons are driving out, some of these things were used in elections. And so when you get to swearing in, a day to handing over, then you now have to now call other people and bring the media to say they are returning. What are they returning?
Okay.
Yeah, we certainly know the behaviors of politicians in Nigeria. It's not in doubt. However, according to what you read, he said that all those things are in that vault in government house with the permission and, of course, the supervision of the police. And so the problem now lies with the former governor and the police commissioner.
Whether the police will say that information is not true.
Good. So if the police comes out now to debunk what the claim of Amosu and all that, Amosu, please, you're on your own. Tell us exactly where you draw the power to hold such a merchandise there.
All right, then. So another story from the Vanguard newspaper, we'll take that as we wrap up, says here that Governor Nyesom River State government will not permit proliferation of vigilante groups. That's from Governor Wike. Nyesom Wike of River State has said the state government will not permit the proliferation of vigilante groups, stating that youths interested in helping the state security architecture should join the State Neighborhood Safety Corps agency. This came as traditional rulers of Ahoda East and Ahoda West local government areas of the state submitted arms retrieved from repentant criminals in the area after a local amnesty program. Speaking at the brief ceremony where he received Ekpe traditional rulers from Ahoda East and Ahoda councils at Government House, Port Harcourt yesterday, Governor Wike said his decision became necessary after OSPAC from Oba, Egbema, and Dunny local government area of the state started overstepping its boundaries. He said, I'm very careful about vigilante groups in all the councils because of what OSPAC was doing. The operatives are now going beyond their boundaries. We'll reintegrate OSPAC into the State Neighborhood Safety Corps agency. Anyone who wants to support the security structure should join the State Neighborhood Safety Corps agency. We will not approve local vigilante for different councils. Emmanuel Ndukwe.
Well, I think the governor is the chief security officer, whether nominally or otherwise. But the fact remains that he is the chief security officer. He says neighborhood safety corps exists in the state and that all of them should join there. But the OSPAC angle, how are they overstepping their bound? Because they are coming to other local governments. Did they just bulldoze themselves into those local governments? Were they not invited? Were they not told to come and then help us with your service? Now, if the governor is saying that such is wrong, then what he will only do is to ban it, perhaps, to make statements that will restrict such. OSPAC remain in Oba, Egbema, and Donny. And that settles it. But for me to blame OSPAC, I don't see. It's only when they unilaterally move into another local government that they should be blamed.
All right, then, 5 Mr. Memena.
Yeah, I listened to this particular issue and the fact that the governor said they are overstepping their boundaries, something like that. I think in a way, by law, yes, because the law establishing OSPAC is not a state law. And those other local government inviting them to is something that I will also say they were on their own. People came and asked them to come and provide security for them. And in their bid to also offer to assist those other local government areas that approach them. But then the law prohibits people from, that kind of movement and engagement, because the law establishing OSPAC is not a state law. It may have been a law at the Ogbaigomanda local government area. So whatever it is, I think the proliferation issue is also something to be looked at. And all those who are in OSPAC today, I know that since the governor is talking about recruiting them into the neighborhood watch, they are going to be automatic member after screening them by the security operatives, like they are saying. But the method and the modus operandi that OSPAC is using to achieve success, would neighborhood watch be able to integrate that into what they are doing? That is the question.
All right, finally, Daniel.
How funny where we quickly blame federal government and accuse it that, it is too big. You had to devolve these powers to states. Don't state too had to devolve powers to local government. And there are critical questions to be asked here. Does the local government have power to set up security apparatus for itself? It's a
good question.
It's a very big. Now, if the state government is streamline this your security apparatus and do all of these things, again, we have once accused. I use the word "we" now as the state government accused these royal highnesses of the fact that they will be dethroned if all of this. So can they on their own also too look for solution on how they are going to do some of these things? Again, if you say that let's have one body, are you saying that all local government have all security issues are the same? Are security issues of Ogoni and Equatorial Land the same? Are the problem here and maybe Eche the same? So I think each local government should look at what it is their problem is about security and how to set up. I think OSPAC has been working fine where they are. The stories I've heard anyway about OSPAC. Because if you want to really know, Annie, the problem, how serious some of these problems are. I was coming from Owerri around to 12. Most drivers refuse to drive through to Port Harcourt. I'm telling you,
PM
they were afraid. PM, they were afraid of that road, of kidnapping. A lot of vehicles parked at is it control they call that area now. No one wants to come.
We've got to wrap
but
up.
People now drive from Owerri. They drive to Anambra on that route. They are there comfortable, but driving from there now to River State is a problem.
All right, so unfortunately we've got to go. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Well, after the news update, we'll be right back. All right, it's almost 9 o'clock, so we've got to be as fast as we can. Unfortunately, I wasn't looking at the time. So thank you so much for coming in, Promise.
Okay.
From Audibola Properties. Let's have you.
Okay, good morning, our valued listeners. How are you doing? Hope you're fine. Now, as usual, Audibola Property, we have been doing this to see how people benefit from real estate. We always come on air to come and encourage you so that little money or benefit you have, you don't lavish it just like that. Now, the reason why you should invest in real estate, number one, is that investment in real estate is so tangible. It's a tangible asset. Now, tangible asset means that it's something that will just be very unique for you. You can always fall back on it. It's something that can be rated as a good asset. So now you're working, you're a businessman, you're a medical doctor, you're an engineer, you're a lawyer, no matter the field of profession you are, wisdom demands that you also diversify. You diversify your investment into real estate. The reason number two is because real estate investment will always increase its value per time. Now, you can buy a new car over time wear and tear will set in. The car you bought for 5 million naira today, after you use it for over 1 year, believe me, you can't sell it for you struggle to sell it for 3 million. Sometimes you don't even see anybody who wants to buy it for 3 million. But now, instead of buying much of luxurious cars, which I know is also good, you can also put in some of your investment in real estate. Put in some of your investment in real estate. The reason is because you can fall back on them. You can diversify this fund into them. You don't need to water them. It does not need you to do anything much for the value to increase over time. Number three is that you can certainly have good value over time, you will have good value for your investments. You will have good value for your investment. And when you want to invest in real estate, you look at areas where properties are developing. You must not necessarily go to invest in areas that are already developed. No, you look at area the government is pushing development into. People are buying, investment is going on peacefully. You go to that area, you invest. You buy as much as you can buy. You invest there because you're sure that over time, give it a period of, let's say, 3 years, 5 years, as the case may be, you will certainly have very high and massive return. That's just it for real estate. Then also, this morning, we're going to be briefing us more also concerning our Odibola Pay Small Small promo. Now, the Odibola Pay Small Small promo, we are speedily rounding up. Now, this Pay Small Small promo gives you an opportunity to buy a plot of land without breaking band. Now, this plot is actually supposed to be going for 1.something million naira, but because of the promo we are doing now, you are allowed to pay 350 down payment. After your 350 down payment, we will allocate the land to you. We will give you your survey plan. Now, the balance of 600,000 naira, you are going to pay it within a space of 4 years. You will not pay it at piecemeal. Monthly basis, you can be paying 12,500 naira only. Now, this land is in a place that is fast developing. You can start your building immediately. People are living around this environment. Now, we have Greater Port Harcourt City approval for this particular layout. It's called the Skyview layout. It's located at Omagwa. Now, you can start your building project immediately while you are offsetting the balance of your payments. Now, we also have other properties. We have the one that is located at the International Airport Terminal. We are sharing boundary there. That one is called the Quiet Heaven Layout Phase 2. It's going for 1.3 million naira per plot. We also have the Treasure View Layout. Treasure View Layout is located at Igrutale School Road. That one is going for 800,000 naira per plot. In all these are properties. Now, we don't collect bush entry. You have opportunity. You have a privilege. You're not paying for bush entry. You're not paying for deed of conveyance. No agency. No hidden charge. Like Odibola Property, our walls is our band. Now, for those of us that are interested, today we have inspection on this our layouts. You can come down to our office at Nyenweli in Sirim Layout, Tombia Extension, GRA Phase 3. Come and ask of Odibola House. You will be directed so that you will be given an interest form that will qualify you to join us for an inspection. Now, for those who want to reach us online, you can call this following number. Call 070 194 37955. Let me take the number again. 070 194 37955. Or you can reach me on my personal line on this following number. 070 300 40173. Let me take the number again. 070 300 40173.
All right, then thank you so much.
Yeah, do have a nice day.
All right, stay tuned. News update comes up next.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Hello and good morning. Here's the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Annie Abdul Salam. River State Governor Nyesom Wike has dissolved the State Universal Basic Education Board, according to the Special Assistant to the Governor on Electronic Media, Simeon Nwakodu, who disclosed this in a press release. The dissolution takes immediate effect. Nwakodu also revealed that the governor further directed members of the board to hand over all property and documents of the board in their possession to the most senior officer. In the meantime, the leadership of Diop Vigilante Group in the River State has hailed the initiative of Today 95.1 FM on her planned security summit coming up on the 6th of July 2019. Spokesman of the group, Prince Amatari, in an interview with our correspondent, said the summit is a step in the right direction that will not only save lives and properties, but also restore security and development in River State. Amatari, while expressing commitment of the Diop Vigilante Group to support the initiative, also called on individuals, government, and corporate organizations to see to the success of the summit.
First, I want to give kudos to today's FM because security is a responsibility of everybody. Because when the environment is not safe, it means investors cannot come in. So for Today FM to initiate such a program, I think it is commendable. And commendable in the sense that if you look at the society is going in a particular direction of crime, going in a particular direction where crime, criminality, cultism is the order of the day. So if a body of this nature, a radio station, is trying to initiate a program that will take the minds of the people to a place where the society will come back to a stage where it will be refined, I think it is a welcome development, and I want them to keep it on. Joe Vigilante is very happy in the sense that we are fighting this crime, and we have seen partners who are also helping us to fight this crime in a particular direction.
A former deputy president of the Senate, Ike Madu, says the constitution amendments carried out by the 8th National Assembly has substantially addressed the problem of proliferation of political parties in Nigeria. Madu, who was also the chairman of the Senate Committee on Constitution Review for 12 years, in a statement by his media aide, Uche Anichukwu, expressed shock at a recent statement credited to the Independent National Electoral Commission's commissioner in charge of Nasarawa, Kogi, and Kwara states, Mohammed Haruna, that the electoral body lacked the powers to deregister political parties without further constitutional amendments. The lawmaker said what INEC needed to do was to look at the provisions of the fourth alteration, number 9 of the 1999 Constitution, to be well guided. He insisted that the latest amendments, duly assented to by the President Muhammadu Buhari, spelled out various reasons that can make the electoral umpire deregister political parties. The Imo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Owerri has granted the application filed by the Action Alliance Party to withdraw from the suit challenging the election victory of the incumbent Governor Emeka Ihedioha in the last governorship elections in the state. While ruling on the application filed by AA National Leadership, which claimed that the party was not consulted by its governorship candidate Uche Nwosu before taking the action, Tribunal Chairman Justice Matthew Adewara granted the request of the party's counsel. Following the request, Justice Adewara removed AA as a party to the suit challenging Governor Ihedioha's victory in the last governorship election, which held in March. Reacting to the ruling, AA's counsel Oke Eheze commended the tribunal for granting the request of the party, saying that the party is not ready to go into a rerun election, which is one of the major prayers of its governorship candidate, Uche Nwosu. Iran's Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council, Ali Shamkhani, has said the country will abandon more nuclear deal commitments on the 7th of July. Shamkhani said that European signatories to the nuclear deal had not done enough to save it. The 2015 deal requires Iran to curb its nuclear program in return for the lifting of sanctions, which the U.S. reimposed after withdrawing from the deal last year. U.S. President Donald Trump had on Monday signed an executive order imposing sanctions against Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and other senior figures. Iran said the measures spell the permanent closure of diplomacy between the two nations. President Hassan Rouhani described the White House as afflicted by mental retardation and called the sanctions against Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, outrageous and idiotic. And that wraps the news update here on Today 95.1 FM. Thank you for listening. Have a good morning.
The situation is critical. The issues are diverse.
You see, courtesan in quote is the surname of all other criminality. But this year, courtesan has a new child known as banditry.
I'm sure you are aware that the 6th Division of Nigeria Army is court-martialing some of its officers for being involved in kidnapping.
There is a consciousness that is going on that if you are into this thing, you become a supreme being.
The whole criminality we are seeing, especially as they occur in River State, they revolve around culture.
So what if you are volunteering information to an accomplice?
In seeking a solution, the Today FM Anti-Cultism Summit comes up on the 6th of July, time 9 a.m. Keynote speakers are Amalpu Senibo Bobo Sophie Brown, Professor Chief Andrew Efemini, Retired Colonel Owunda, Professor Austin Sadu, and Ken Henshaw of We the People. Also on the table will be representatives of stakeholders and the various organs of influence that can help deal with the stemming tide of cultism. Keep the date, 6th of July 2019, 9 a.m. Let's fight cultism together.
Never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Hello. Are you job ready in this digital dispensation? Are you equipped with the right tools to navigate through the evolving times? NIIT presents Digital Skills for Industry 4.0. You will be equipped with data analytics, machine learning with R and Python, Internet of Things IoT, artificial intelligence, big data, business intelligence, DevOps blockchain, Digging Next MMS, and digital marketing. Please note, scholarship is available. Test date is Saturday, 13th July 2019. What are you waiting for? Run to number 1 Cardinal Street, The Line, Port Harcourt, and book your space. Or call
0817 389 0176 or 0806 962 5113
or visit www.niit.com/Nigeria to apply for the scholarship.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.
Together as one, living in harmony and peaceful coexistence in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, and the entire South-South zone of our great nation, Nigeria. One word, one vision, one mission, one message.
I did exactly 13 minutes after 9 and you're listening to Today 95.1 FM. I have representatives of Wealth Academy here in the studio, Collins and Ikemakulam. Good morning.
Good morning, Nani.
Let me start with Ikemakulam this morning. Ikemakulam, how has trading been going on for you?
Wow, it's been awesome. It's been wonderful. You know, I always like to, start with showing you some of my trades, for the day. Just a quick one. This was for yesterday morning.
Oh, okay.
Just for the morning, not for the whole day. Because I always say a man who wakes up as a success hasn't been sleeping. So you can imagine you wake up. I always tell people, if you don't find a way to make money while you're sleeping, then you may work till you die. That's why we are here to share the good news.
All right, fantastic. So let me get this right now. When you say in the morning, this is just for the morning. Does that mean that you have opportunity to trade even further during the day?
Yeah. Like today, I have plans to trade for the day because network was bad last night in my area, so I couldn't trade at night. So that's why I couldn't give you any result this morning for this morning. But I have plans, to go somewhere and then do my trading for the day.
So is it possible that someone can embark on a trading in the morning and then embark on another trading later in the day?
Yeah, different sections. One of the reasons why people fail in Forex is because they don't understand sections. Forex comes in sections, the Tokyo sections, the London sections, and all of that. So that's how it goes.
Okay. All right, then. Collins, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you, Annie. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yesterday, the guests were blown away by the simplicity of the teacup, I tell you. Yesterday was amazing. It was simply amazing. The Hosea strategy, we treated the Hosea strategy yesterday, and they were simply blown away. It was truly, truly mind-blowing at how easy it is for you to make money in this economy that is not favorable to anybody at all. You want to come and learn this skill. IML has provided a skill. IML has provided a way of learning a skill that was formerly complex. IML, International Markets Life, is an educational platform that teaches people how to trade in the world's largest money market, which is the Forex market, guys. Now, Wealth Academy partners with IML to bring this education to Nigerians. Now, a lot of people might be asking, what is Forex? Forex simply means foreign exchange. It is one country's currency trading against another country's currency. Yes, and you want to ask, who trades Forex? Well, it is very easy. The government trades Forex. the Nigerian government, the American government, the Canadian government, they all trade forex. The banks, this is what they do with your money every single day. They take your hard-earned money, put it in the forex market, and make huge profits from the forex market every day with your hard-earned money. Now, how smart have you been with your money? You want to come and learn how you can trade this market, how you can be profitable in this market, how you can take your own money and trade with it yourself and taking the profits by yourself. You want to be at our mentoring session tomorrow. Now, what anyone can learn, what anyone can learn, everyone can learn. IML has simplified tools and systems that are so easy to understand, so down to earth that anybody can trade in this market, guys. Now, the forex market is where the wealthy multiply their money. You want to learn how you can trade in this market. Now, the system is working. IML has a system. System simply means save yourself time, energy, and money. IML has a system that does all the work for you guys. All you need to do, literally, is to copy and paste. IML says to you, hey, you're learning how to trade in this market, but can we help you earn some money while you're learning? It is called learn while you earn. Because if you take away the letter L from the word learn, what you have is earn. You want to come and learn a skill that can pay you for the rest of your life, despite what the Nigerian economy is doing right now. Now, you want to come and learn this skill. We have different products in IML. This sets us aside from every other platform. We have the IML teacup. We have the IML harmonic scanner. We have the IML TV. IML TV is simply amazing, guys. It's a TV that puts money in your pocket. Imagine watching a TV with our live educators, and into the training sessions, they call out trades. And before the sessions are over, you're already in profit. This is simply amazing. This system has made the difference for me. It has transformed my mentality. It has transformed my life. A year before now, even 3 months before now, I thought making money was really hard. I thought making money was something that you'd have to... I thought it was rocket science. But now, my mindset has been transformed. I tell you, it's been amazing what I've been able to do with the Hosea strategy in the IML harmonic scanner. And the M4 M50, we say it's a no-brainer because it is so amazing. It is so easy. You just watch out for a blue line and a black line. When they touch on cross-facing up, you buy. When they touch on cross-facing down, you sell. The guests yesterday were blown away. You want to be at our mentoring session tomorrow. I tell you.
Okay, tomorrow, our mentoring session, the 27th of June, 2019, is by 9 a.m. Thursday, 27th June, is by 11 a.m. 11 a.m. All you need to do is to SMS the word wealth. SMS the word wealth to 070 39 118224. All you need to do is to SMS the word wealth to 070 39 118224. The venue is Sweet Spirit Hotels and Suite, number 79 Kensarawa Way, former Stadium Road, Port Harcourt. This is supposed to be a paid session. But if your SMS is among the first 50, then we'll have a reservation for you.
Okay, so the first 50 people get to have a free sitting.
Exactly. You know, I like to always talk to people whom have done Forex before in the time past, or somehow people who are still doing Forex. Because those are the people that probably may hear you and, you know, have some doubts because they have failed. And a lot of persons who have failed in some ventures before don't want to venture it again, especially here in Nigeria. But, you know, my brother talked about system. You know, before now, we don't use ATM. You must go to the bank to draw money. Before now, you can't wire somebody money that is in Abuja or that is in London. But you can sit just right here and then send somebody money, and the person gets the money and goes his way. It's system, right? Wealth Academy have powerful systems that can help you in the forex market. I tell you, this market, if you bring the budget of Nigeria into this market, it will swallow it. We are talking about 5.3 trillion dollars. I beg your pardon.
Daily.
5.3 trillion dollars daily. So it will swallow the budget of Nigeria. It's as serious as that. You know, I just showed you my result. When I came on Monday, I showed you my result on Monday. When I came, I'm today now.
Yeah,
I'm showing you the one for yesterday, and today I'm going to make some money more. which company will pay you that much? Job comes, job goes. Businesses can fold up. Government can just rise up one morning and put some, policies that will, disrupt your business. We are calling on students who are, who have graduated and you're looking for a job. You don't need to. All you need is a skill set. We live in an era where the only people who will make this money are people who have skill set. And for those who think they have made much, you're only on your broke zone. I always tell people who are relaxed, say, I have money, I have enough money for myself. You're only on your broke zone, because people who have made money even seek for more. You look at the life of the Dangotes and the rest, they go for more. So this is a session that will blow you up. This is a session that you will not regret coming. It's a mentoring session. Mentorship is what moves people faster to their destination. You don't need to, begin to struggle. Look at what's happening. People are going to fetch fuel, and, blowing up themselves. It's just because, when you listen to it, you see, trace it down the line, you will discover it's because of joblessness. I'm just so excited because this has helped me and it has helped my brother here. My brother here is a youth corper. He has not even. He hasn't even been called. He has not even been called. He is yet to go, and yet he's making some money for himself. So you can imagine, will he go, return, and start looking for a job? The answer is no, because he's already making some dollar, and not even in naira, some dollar for himself. For me, my testimony is amazing. I'm an IT professional. I'm an IT instructor. I'm an IT consultant. Right? But when I heard about this thing, they told me you can come, we teach you how to trade. The amazing thing here is they will teach you how to trade, not somebody trading with you. A lot of persons are giving their money out to some other persons, to trade for them.
Yes. And this is not what Wealth Academy
and this is not what we do. We don't even advise it. When you come, you will see elderly people, you will see young people, you will see the average class. They are learning, because, like my brother said, what anybody can do, everybody can do it.
Okay, so for people who are interested in this, who are willing to come make some other source of income, what are you telling them? How can they be part of this?
Just all you need to do is to SMS the word wealth to 070 3911 8224. Just SMS the word wealth to 070 3911 8224. It's supposed to be a paid session, like I said, but if your SMS is one of the first 50 SMSs that hits our line, we are going to make a reservation for you. And the time, the date is the 27th of June, precisely Thursday, tomorrow, 27th of June. And the venue is Swiss Spirit Hotels and Suites, 79 Kensawariwa Way, former Stadium Road, Port Harcourt.
All right, then. Okay, so let me get to you, Collins. Now, you said people were really blown away yesterday with the simplicity of the teacup strategy.
Yes.
What are the strategies are available for people who are coming on board that Wealth Academy continually churned out?
You have the divergence. The divergence is another simply amazing strategy. You have the Hosea, like I talked about. You have the SK5. There are thousands and thousands of strategies. All you need to do is just to learn one strategy that puts money in your pocket. You don't need to learn all the strategies. All you just need to do is watch out for one strategy. That strategy, I bet you, would put money in your pocket for the rest of your life. You want to be at our mentoring session. People are winning and lives are changing. Yesterday, before the mentoring session, we had a live trading where people made $400, people made $600 according to your equity. Some people made $10, some people made $20. While you're learning this skill, can you consistently do $10 a day? Can you consistently do $15 a day, $20 a day? It's amazing. It will change your life. I tell you, mentorship is what has made the difference for all of us, because mentorship is the legal shortcut to success. I always like to say this: if you know where you're going, your road is short. If you know how to get there, your road is shorter. But if you have someone that has been there before and is willing to take you by the hand, you're already there. Mentorship is what has enabled everyone in IML World Academy get their results. You shouldn't wish that things were easier. You should wish that you were wiser, because if you were wiser, you'll be able to solve the complications of life. Now, we have brought an opportunity where you can learn a skill set You can learn a skill set. Your mindset should be aimed at learning this skill set. This skill set will set you financially free, I tell you. You want to be at our mentoring session tomorrow, the 27th of June 2019. It's holding at Sweet Spirit Hotels and Suites, 79 Kensal Way, former Stadium Road, Elikahia, Port Harcourt. The time is 11 a.m. 11 a.m., guys. You want to SMS the word wealth. SMS the word wealth to the phone number 0703 911 8224. 0703 911 8224. SMS the word wealth to that phone number. If your SMS is amongst the first 50 that we get, you get a free reservation.
Thank you so much, Collins. Last one's from you, Nankem.
You know, without the sense of urgency, desire loses value. You never can tell how far you can go until you get started. Especially for those who say they don't have time. When you come, we'll show you how you can put in just 2 hours every morning, and then you can make a change in your life.
All right, then. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, stay with us, and we'll continue with today's quiz. Opinion poll, of course, is up next.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
The situation is critical. The issues are diverse.
You see, courtesan in quote is the surname of all other criminalities. But this year, courtesan has a new child known as banditry.
I'm sure you are aware that the 6th Division of Nigeria is court-martialing some of its officers for being involved in kidnapping.
There is a consciousness that is going on that if you are into this thing, you become a supreme being.
The whole criminality we are seeing, especially as they occur in Rivers State, they revolve around countries.
So what if you are volunteering information to an accomplice?
In seeking a solution, the Today FM Anti-Cultism Summit comes up on the 6th of July, time 9 a.m. Keynote speakers are Amalpu Senibo Bobo Sophie Brown, Professor Chief Andrew Efemini, Retired Colonel Owunda, Professor Austin Sadu, and Ken Henshaw of We the People. Also on the table will be representatives of stakeholders and the various organs of influence that can help deal with the stemming tide of cultism. Keep the date, 6th of July 2019, 9 a.m. Let's fight cultism together.
Port Harcourt, voice of the people. News happens on its terms, so we give it to you on yours, the way you want it, anytime you need it. On the air, on Today, 95.1 FM. This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Okay, so it's exactly 9:33. You're listening to Today 95.1 FM opinion poll. And for opinion poll, we're looking at Osibanjo's comments where he says, I did not say kidnapping is in Nigeria is exaggerated. Of course, you have groups of people who are upset over that and saying that he did say the rate of kidnapping is being exaggerated, especially by social media or events as told on social media. And they felt that he should have put up, the truth while he was there in the United States and would have agreed to what was going on instead of cowering behind the truth, according to what some of them said. And they insist that what he did there was to whitewash Nigeria and the situation here, and that the fact that he was trying to align the issues of kidnapping, as it were, to politics, they also say was undermining what was really going on. But like he did say, he says usually after an election year you might see an upscale in crime because of proliferation of arms. This happens because the kind of politics that we have politicians who arm these young boys and girls in some cases to help them towards elections, and after the election is done, retrieving some of these arms from these people is also a problem. And the next thing they do after elections is use them for crime. And he says this can also be a reason why there's this amount of escalation in crime and gun-related crimes as we have seen here. But Emmanuel, would you say that this escalation happened in 2019, or we have steadily seen this on the increase for the past couple of years?
I think it has been on the rise. It's been on the increase for many years. And like Osiba just says, after election, usually, you see it, the escalation of it, because truly, as at the time, they were wooed and then brought in by the politicians and all that and used them after. They can no longer be under their payroll continuously as when they were doing jobs for them. And when you look around, you can't get any cover from anybody, but you have something superior to cover, which can generate cover for you, and that is your arms. You use it and then start generating yourself. Like they say, teach him how to fish and not to give him fish. So that gun automatically becomes the knowledge about how to fish. And that is why we find this escalation very much everywhere. But I believe in terms of the comment of Sibajo, like I said, I wouldn't know how others looked at it to say that he mentioned about escalation, exaggeration of it and all that. I didn't hear, I didn't also, having gone through a little of it, I didn't see any way it was mentioned. I quite frankly believe that what is stated there is what is expected of him. But the angle of saying he should have come out to state how they are handling it, as much as Nigeria is concerned, government is handling it the way it's handling it. It's just like any other nation. I don't think government will just be very much happy that kidnapping is happening in the country. He didn't hide it. He said it's happening. But some of them turned out to be stories. And of course, some, you see, there's one thing politicians have not come to agree. That one, for instance, as it is APC, you see other politicians who will be working, who are not in APC. They'll be working, not completely, to support that administration. The same thing APC will do if it were PDP there. That is how they do it. They will be working in a way that will sabotage, as it were, that particular party in power. And so that's the angle he said, buoyed by politics, for instance. You see that in the end, after subjected to investigation, you find it that it's not true as people were thinking. And some of them have been happening like that. I have also heard some of them that somebody came out and even planned his own kidnapping because he wanted to get something from his parents and some from the aunties and uncles and all that. It's been happening. And in the end, the person will start singing like bird, saying, no, I was led into it because nobody was taking care of me and all that. Can you just say that it was real kidnapping? It was a fake one. And there are others, like Osiba just said, that are happening and they are real. The angle of social media, are we not believing that it is a place that you could get anything you want? And there are some who are very much have itching fingers. They want to go online and start telling stories and this and that. Is why personally, anytime something takes me to social media, I'll just get what I just want and then leave that place. It's not something I'll read this one, I read this one. No, I look at them as falsification. Yes. So Osibejo is right. The social media, according to his word, he said they go hysterical. And that is true. Is it? There's no doubt about it. So for Hanese, Afenifere, and Middle Belt leaders, who I also have great respect for, I also believe they understand their own issues in the way they do. But for me, I do not see where Osibajo now says that kidnapping is exaggerated in Nigeria. Where they saw it, I do not see it with them. I don't know.
All right. Fine first minute.
Yeah, generally there had been an increase in crime rates across Nigeria.
Was this just after the elections, as Osibanjo says? Well, there is an increase usually during the election year.
Well, I think I will date it back to maybe sometimes in 1999, and ever since then it has been on steady increase, and nothing has really been done to, really curtail this. And after elections, you have to have some upsurge, increasing the percentage from where it was before election to another level after election, because political office holding requires a lot of them to arm these youths. You have, illegal arms and the light weapon, and this small arms and light weapons, in the hands of non-state actors, and a lot of them after election they use it to sustain themselves. We've heard stories of how some of them got these guns. We've heard stories of how some of them had to, pay advance, and then they are giving gun, and then after some time they come back to pay the balance, and you wonder what they use the gun for, that they now have money to pay back. So these stories are all there. But the point remains that why is it that there are people that are readily available to receive this arm, to use this arm to cause insecurity? And the fundamental cause of that is the issue of restiveness as a result of joblessness. A lot of these youth are not engaged, because I think if the youths are leaving the house in the morning and coming back in the evening, getting engaged in meaningful activities and aiming at what they are going to make in terms of benefit and profit from the business they get into, or money they are going to earn at the end of their job, they will not be able to be available for all day. So I think the government needs to tackle the issue of unemployment and create jobs for the young people, and try to keep them busy through different social intervention programs that they need to roll out across the country. Basically, agriculture is going to employ very many of these people, but our population has been increasing over the years without commensurate provision for the population to, get jobs. These are different from the people that are graduating from the universities every year. So I think they need to do something to tackle unemployment, so that youths will not be readily available to receive these arms and then cause insecurity, within the country.
All right. Okay. Daniel Momo.
Yes, I think the fact was that some of these persons who replied or who issued statements condemning what the vice president said are still not answer certain questions. Now, the truth about what the VP said was that, has our kind of politics not armed the youth or increased crime generally? We can't deny that. The kind of politics we practice has actually armed youth. Is it Niger Delta? Is it in the Northeast? Is it the North Central? So what is it that the man has said that was different from what was said? Like I said the other time, yes, there are some places where I never thought kidnapping would go to, and kidnapping are gotten to places like that. You talk about places like Ekiti. These are places where you hardly find anyone saying they're going to kidnap. So kidnapping has gotten to those places. Yes. Again, you ask, in some of these issues, has there been political coloration to some of these issues raised? Yes. Take, for example, the Fulani issue. And now has become something that when you mention the word Fulani now, it's like we just started hearing the word Fulani. I was born in the North Central. The issue of Fulani herders crisis is not today. Remember what this man did, the former governor of Central Bank, Sanusi, where he had to donate money, and people had the outrage that came, under which government was Sanusi, under which government? That he had to donate money to places where there were crises. And so when we now look at these issues, we try to now play it down to the extent like it is just happening now. No, it's not just happening now. So our politics or our kind of politics or our brand of politics has actually armed not just kidnapping, crime generally. And some of the issues, far issues were, okay, take for example, the kidnapping of was it Olufalaye and those that kidnapped him. He came out to say that there were Fulani people who kidnapped him or Fulani headsmen who kidnapped him. And at the end of the day, the people that were arrested, out of that, I think there were about 7, only one person was a Fulani man. Okay, now, what happened to the other tribes? They were part of those people that were kidnapped. In South, who does the kidnapping? Are there also people who does kidnapping here or Fulani men who does kidnapping? How come that it will not generate the kind of news, but allow a Fulani man to hit somebody a stick now? It will generate some kind of news that you will think that it has never happened here before. So politics itself, is it a run to the 2019 election? The Afenifere Renewal Group, led by spokesman Yinka Odumake, actually supported Atiku. The Niger Delta Elders actually supported Atiku. The Ohanese actually throw their weight against Peter Obi. So what are we now talking? Is it that they are neutral in some of these issues? They are not. So let nobody play God here. Let nobody play as if issues in this country just started today. No, they never did. Yes, certain things has increased. But do you expect that a vice president will go out of the country while he was talking to other people? What were his primary functions there? A simple question was asked him and he tried to explain what it is. And so it's now a problem. And so that has now overshadowed the whole of the visit he has gone to do. It's very unfortunate that some of us or sometimes some group take certain positions with, like I told you yesterday, I had to watch the video because what I saw on social media was so alarming. I had to search. And the videos I watched, I was thinking, okay, maybe if you edit this, let me even check other ones. Well, nothing. That the thing he said about politics were not correct? No. So for me, it's an exaggeration to the fact that we have to even exaggerate what the man is saying.
Okay. All right. So, but what do you think about the group, Emmanuel, who have gone on to say, they were displeased with how he went about this issue in faraway USA? When you juxtapose that against several times that we've had, well, maybe the president or even officials of this administration who have said things outside the country where a lot of people have felt that was rather demarketing for the nation. How do you place this?
You see, Annie, when we talk about kidnapping, it's not only happening in Nigeria. Across the world, even if in the United States of America, sometimes it happens. It's kidnapping. As a matter of fact, some of all these things were copied from these developed nations. But, you know, Nigerians are adept at something that is bad. They may come and then aggravate it, make it more. So if you are talking about, they're saying it at the United States of America or wherever, it's always like that. Once a question is asked, suddenly the answers must come. And I don't know whether they wanted him to say, no, there was no kidnapping, or the kidnapping here in Nigeria is in every family or every village. I don't understand. There is nobody that will say so. Oftentimes we hear governors will come and say, don't demarcate our states, because people are saying certain things they are seeing. And the governors will now come out and say that, no, it's not in that way in my state. Is it Osibajo that will do differently? He will go there, as they say, you see, in all regions, don't make any mistake and step down from a car. You'll be kidnapped. And then every organization will be happy. For me, I think that the organizations that are saying that, well, he demarketed them in London or in America and all that, is the same thing we've been saying. It's just like when I said they asked Buhari the question, the president, question about the corruption in Nigeria. Do you want him to say there is no corruption in Nigeria? People from outside already know. And so if you say that way, what kind of president is this one? Is he trying to cover this thing that is in public domain? So, well, like he said, politics is pushing some of these things. It's not in doubt. Even the organization that said they are not happy with him and all that. You see, I have said no political party will remain in power. PDP were claiming to remain there for 60 years. They stayed for 16. APC is maybe going to 8 years now. If they will stay, if there is no truncation of it at the tribunal, whatever, so they will stay for 8 years. I don't know of another one. Now, as soon as others take over, we are going to see whether if anybody from any party at all that will replace APC any day, any year at all it may be, will go to America or wherever, and you are asked, how is Nigeria? You say everything is smooth in Nigeria. It can never be said, because you will be making yourself a laughing stock at the international level if you even say so. So for me, well, on the Afenifere, Middle Belt and Niger Delta elders, whoever says whatever he said, I never heard Osiba just said that kidnapping in Nigeria is exaggerated. I never heard that kind of comment. But all I know is that, yes, they may not be happy about that, perhaps because of their political leanings, and no government has ever received a commendation in everything it does at any point in time. I am saying anybody has started to be challenged by anybody. If any other party takes over, and as they start, so criticism will also trail them. That is nature, because truly no human can be perfect, A to Z. So I don't know exactly where they got that exaggerations off from. I don't know at all.
Yeah, I think this comment is not coming at a wrong time. I think it's coming just few days or few weeks after some countries, especially the UK, released a statement that its citizens, US, shouldn't travel to certain parts of the country of Nigeria. I think they listed several states, running up to about 16 or thereabout. So the vice president's comments and the knock he has gotten from, the leaders of these areas is not far from the reality that is, on ground. Because as he made that comment while addressing, some Nigerians in the United States, I think it is a situation that is actually worsening if we look at it. But I think the issue the question and the effort should be focused on how this issue will be addressed. And sometimes when it happens here, it is not given as much attention as it's supposed to get. But then it has happened. And people outside read more meaning to it than we that are here. To us, we are just used to the situation. It has happened and what have you. But the key issue remains that effort and step needs to be taken and must be taken to see how the issue can be addressed.
No problem. You see, the visit was not to buy arms. The visit was not to negotiate whether we need assistance for security or not. The visit is a totally different thing. And the question was asked. Like he said, the U.S. government issued a travel advisory. Even the Akwa Ibom State government has issued a statement saying the fact that they do not agree with the travel advisory issued by the United States government on the fact that its citizens should be careful of these certain states. And Akwa Ibom actually did some good job in that statement that was issued. Now, do you expect, like I said, the vice president's visit was not to buy arms. It has nothing to do with arms, has nothing to do with... He is speaking to an audience that a question was raised, and which was germane. And to the best of my knowledge, from all I have seen and all I have read, I have not seen what he has... Okay, now, if he had said otherwise, what would have happened? That the U.S. government would have rushed down to Nigeria and arrest every kidnapper or what?
Okay. Stop them.
No, what would have happened? If he had said, okay, in every state, now you need to be careful. You need to go with police. You need to go. Okay, what would have happened? Are we not still going to accuse him the way we accuse the president of saying that he's demarketing Nigeria? Okay, at what best should demarketing now be described in relation to what Osibajo has said? Again, you ask that if you ask now, if what Osibajo has said, I don't know if you watch a video about was it Kagama, what's his name now? The man from this place you had genocide. What's his name?
Rwanda.
You saw. I don't know. There was this thing that was posted online. You saw how that man was so harsh. Again, the people. I read some comment. The people in Nigeria actually praising that man. Imagine if Buhari has said, or Osibajo has said the same statement that man had made. What would have happened? And so the thing is, I think we are taking politics too far and not looking at issues on its merit. The vice president wouldn't have said otherwise. He is bound to say what he has said. Now, whether it is correct or not is for the debate. But to have said that what he said about politics increasing the crime rate in Nigeria, the man is not far from the truth. We know all of these things. So it's not like something that is just happening yesterday or happening today. These are the facts that the man has stated. Whether they want him to exaggerate or not exaggerate it, or to put it mildly or anything, the man has said what he needed to be said there. It is a forum where Nigerians and other business people are gathered, and especially a vice president of a country. As he goes there, the word goes there, the media goes there. So what would he have said? What different would he have said? Nothing.
All right then. So in any which case, as it was seen, you can't please everybody all the time.
Of course. No, but I think it's politics that we're just putting, not.
You can't have the people pleased all the time. That's all I think I'll take away from this, because I know for sure if you had gone there and said, oh, kidnapping was as bad as it is, that the boys have refused to down their weapons and blah blah blah, it will still be another round of Nigerians saying that
the administration was very weak and that's why they've gone the way.
So,
you can never be free.
But again, for others again who felt that he was shying away from the truth, I want to understand that too, that in a case like this where we honestly have a crisis in our hands, because to want to downplay it in a manner that, oh, this has been going on for long now, we've always had kidnapping in our system, which nations don't have it, it takes away from me the truth which we face now, which is this is on the increase. It has become a huge cancer in our midst, and if we think that we're just likening it away to other countries, what they're experiencing, or the fact that we've always had kidnapping or issues of violence the way we do here as in the past, and therefore government is doing what they're doing, I don't think that we have fairly, or should I say squarely, dealt with those issues properly, if that was the manner the vice president was treating it.
Annie, the person speaking here is the vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and he was not making this comment in Nigeria, he was making it in the United States. And nobody should even expect the vice president to confirm the fact that kidnapping was on the increase or was a big threat or whatever. He will downplay it the way he has done. But that does not take away the reality of the situation on ground. What I never really understood about his angle was when he said most of these kidnappings are fueled by politics. I don't know how politics fuel this. I know somehow during electioneering period, some political opponents send some people to kidnap their opponents and stuff like that. But then I think the issue is real, and we should not just talk about or downplay it because we want to defend the government, but work towards making sure that that does not happen again. I think just how many weeks or how many days after the former minister of health left office, his son was taken hostage, and that is a senior government official that we could believe that has enough security for himself and his family, if it was ever enough to have enough security. And then his son became a victim. How much more other Nigerians?
No, but if we say it is not politics. When Avenger came up, what were they avenging? What were they avenging? Was there a tangible thing that they put forward that was not politics? An Avenger came as soon as the president was sworn into office. What was Avenger doing? 2, did Bola Ige was killed picked up from his house. He was killed. That then was the was it not the attorney? I mean, the minister for power.
No, he was the attorney general.
At that time was the attorney general of the federation was killed. When was that? So did it just happen? The question is, it is not just happening. Let us not come and open the eye like, no, these things are just happening. No, they have been there. So it is the politics that fuel and make the whole thing look like it started today. It didn't start today. A senior government official to that level was killed.
Then we need to classify this kidnapping.
You see, no, fine face. When you are talking about not understanding the political angle, or Sibajo mentioned, the propaganda that follows it, that heightens it, is politics. Now, if you remember, when we want to, I don't know why politicians always want to skate around issues and not get to the nitty-gritty of it. Now, the Ohanese, in these elections, their support, where was it? They know. They are different. They know where they support. Even the Middle Belt,
of course,
and the Niger Delta. So while they have their support to this particular side, also propaganda will be rising high to discredit this particular administration that eventually took over where they put their support for. That is the angle politics is playing the game.
And that was why the Ghanaian, pastor from God was talking about national unity, whereby you have people from various political parties working towards, the achievement of a national goal by supporting, a particular candidate or administration. And that is what we need to do. Because in as much as you have a politics of drag him down, you begin to have some of this kind of issue playing out.
Indeed, we do. All right, the news update comes up next. We'll take this break here. When we return, we'll continue the conversation here.
On its terms, so we give it to you on yours, the way you want it, anytime you need it. On the air, on Today 95.1 FM.
Today 95.1 FM. Port Harcourt. News update.
Hello and good morning. Here's the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Annie Abdul Salam. River State Governor Nyesom Wike has declared that the state government will not permit the proliferation of vigilante groups, stating that youths interested in helping to build the state security architecture should join the State Neighborhood Safety Corps agency. According to the governor's special assistant on electronic media, Simeon Nwakodu, who made this known in a statement. Wike made this known while speaking at a brief ceremony where he received the Ekpeye traditional rulers from Ahoda East and Ahoda West local government areas at the government house in Port Harcourt on Tuesday. This came after traditional rulers of Ahoda East and Ahoda West local government areas submitted arms retrieved from repentant criminals in the area after a local amnesty program. Governor Wike said the embargo on the proliferation of vigilante groups across the state became necessary after OSPAC from Oba Egbema and Doni local government area started overstepping its boundaries. The governor, who pledged to reintegrate OSPAC into the State Neighborhood Safety Corps agency, directed anyone who wants to support the security structure in the state to join the State Neighborhood Safety Corps agency, as the government will not approve local vigilante for different local government areas. Governor Wike expressing displeasure that some criminals pretend to have repented only for them to renege after rearming themselves. Also disclosed that the River State government will no longer operate an amnesty program, as many of the criminals reneged during the first experience, but said the government will now embark on what he termed binding over, an arrangement where if the repentant criminals renege, the law then takes its course. While saying that the security agencies are determined to fight crime across the state, Governor Wike commended the traditional rulers of Ekpeye land and the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly, Ehe Edison, for taking proactive action to improve security, and promised that the state government will reward the divisional police officers of Ahoda East and West and the Joint Task Force Commander in the area, Major Nwachuku, for their roles in promoting peace and security. In the meantime, the leadership of Diop Vigilante Group in River State has hailed the initiative of Today 95.1 FM on her planned security summit coming up on the 6th of July 2019. Spokesman of the group, Prince Amatari, in an interview with our correspondent, said the summit is a step in the right direction that will not only save lives and properties, but also restore security and development in Rivers State. Amatari, while expressing commitment of the Diob Vigilante Group to support the initiative, also called on individuals, government, and corporate organizations to see to the success of the summit. Former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi, has said Nigeria is on the verge of bankruptcy following unfavorable economic policies of the federal government. Sanusi issued the warning while speaking at the workshop organized by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation at the Government House, Kano. The emir opposed subsidizing petroleum products and electricity tariff as he asked President Muhammadu Buhari to tell Nigerians the fact about the economic situation and also act quickly on it. He therefore advised President Muhammadu Buhari to take a different stance, saying successive governments adopted the policy to the detriment of the country's progress. On the foreign scene, White House advisor Jared Kushner has branded the United States' plan for the Middle East the opportunity of the century for the Palestinians, but said their acceptance was a precondition to peace. His comments came as he began promoting the U.S. government's economic blueprint for investment in the region during a workshop in Bahrain, billed as the first part of Washington's broader plan to resolve decades-long Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The two-day event in Bahrain's capital, Manama, has, however, been boycotted by the Palestinian Authority, which has rejected it as an ill-fated attempt to liquidate the Palestinian cause. The U.S. did not invite Israeli government representatives, but several officials from regional countries are in attendance. And that wraps the news update here on Today 95.1 FM. Thank you for listening. So have a good morning.
On its terms, so we give it to you on yours, the way you want it, anytime you need it, on the air, on Today 95.1 FM. Radio has never been this good. Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
The situation is critical. The issues are diverse.
You see, courtesan in quote is the surname of all other criminality. But this year, courtesan has a new child known as banditry.
I'm sure you are aware that the 6th Division of Nigeria Army is court-martialing some of its officers for being involved in kidnapping.
There is a consciousness that is going on that if you are into this thing, you become a supreme being.
The whole criminality we are seeing, especially as they occur in Rivers State, they revolve around countries.
So what if you are volunteering information to an accomplice?
In seeking a solution, the Today FM Anti-Cultism Summit comes up on the 6th of July, time 9 a.m. Keynote speakers are Amalpu Senibo Bobo Sophie Brown, Professor Chief Andrew Efemini, Retired Colonel Owunda, Professor Austin Sadu, and Ken Henshaw of We the People. Also on the table will be representatives of stakeholders and the various organs of influence that can help deal with the stemming tide of cultism. Keep the date, 6th of July 2019, 9 a.m. Let's fight cultism together.
Radio has never been this good. Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. happens on its terms, so we give it to you on yours, the way you want it, anytime you need it. On the air, on Today 95.1 FM.
It's 9 minutes after 10, and you're still listening to Today 95.1 FM. And, well, we'll just wrap up on the issue. We had already wrapped up on the issue of whether the vice president did say kidnapping in Nigeria is exaggerated or not while he was in the United States, to the fact that we have groups who have gone on to say that they condemn such a comment. And then we want to move on to another. But I think this pretty much will have to cover for okay, but this might just have to be our topic for real talk, where we have River State government says they will not permit proliferation of vigilante groups. Governor Nyesom Wike of River State has said the state government will not permit the proliferation of vigilante groups, stating that youths interested in helping build the state security architecture should join the state's Neighborhood Safety Corps agency. This came as traditional rulers of Ahoda East and Ahoda West local government areas of the state submitted arms retrieved from repentant criminals in the area after a local amnesty program. Speaking at a brief ceremony where he received the traditional rulers, Governor Wike said his decision became necessary after OSPAC from Ogma, Egbema, and Doni local government areas of the state started overstepping its boundaries. And he said, I'm being very careful about vigilante groups in all the councils because of what OSPAC was doing. The operatives are now going beyond their boundaries. We will reintegrate OSPAC into the State Neighborhood Safety Corps agency. Anyone who wants to support the state security architecture should join the state's Neighborhood Safety Corps agency. We will not approve local vigilante for different councils. And he went on to say there will no longer be any state-sponsored amnesty programs. He says rather what they will have is a binding. I think I read that earlier on in the news. He says this is for those who renege after they have given up amnesty. They've given up their arms and have signed on to amnesty program, and then the renege, that this in itself is this new campaign that it will have is targeted as those group of people. He called it binding over. It's an arrangement where if repentant criminals renege, the law then takes its course. But for state-sponsored amnesty programs, he says that's not going to happen anymore, because he notices that usually what they do is that once they grab the opportunity for amnesty, the next thing again they renege. So it's like, an unending circle. Right now, what is happening in the state is binding over. If you renege, the law will catch up with you. But let's look at it from the beginning, where he says, look, there will be no local vigilantes in councils. He says because he doesn't want to have a proliferation of vigilante groups. He's also seen what OSPAC is trying to do, which is overstep its boundaries. But he thinks that anybody who wants to help with the architecture system or architecture, security architecture in the state will have to join the Neighborhood Safety Corps. OSPAC, as a matter of fact, he says, will be reintegrated into the Neighborhood Safety Corps. Emmanuel, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think if it's presented in that form, I think it's better because usually there should be a central security architecture. I said this because I am going back to history when, for instance, you had the OPC in Lagos. All the local governments did not have its own security architecture, but all of them relied on OPC and all that. Now you talk about the Bakassi in the southeast. They all had that as their state security architecture. Now, if you are coming to have in local government A, you have this, local government B, you have another, like that. There could also be problems itself. But I do not want to look at OSPAC as having maybe crossed the line, except otherwise. There are specific laws that bars them from crossing from their local government to another. And if we are reasoning along that line, we also should remember whether it was a unilateral action from OSPAC or they were invited legally to cross over and help. Now, I know that I think Emoha did that and the Ikwere did that. Was it not also, I think I heard about Obiakbo, yes, inviting them.
Ghana too.
Because I don't know if somebody invites you to come and do your job, the job you've been known to do very excellently, and then you are invited over. Except there is a specific state law that bars such. If not, OSPAC has not done anything. But where the governor is coming to say, we want to centralize this security network, let's say all of you, instead of having multiplicity of security apparatus in local governments, join the neighborhood, what they call that, neighborhood something, watch, which of course is for the state. I think is setting it right. But for me, I do not see OSPAC as having breached any law except there is one that exists along that line.
All right, then. Okay. Fine, Fist in a minute.
Yeah, I think in a way, I know that wasn't the condition under which the governor spoke wasn't really targeted at holistic comments on the OSPAC issue. Otherwise, I would have said the first thing I think the governor should have done is to, praise and congratulate OSPAC for the good job it has been doing, complementing the efforts of security operatives like the police in Ogbaigbe-Mandori local government area. I believe OSPAC has played critical role in the maintenance of internal security in Rivers State in conjunction with the police and other security personnel. And then the role they have played and how they have operated has become a model that other states and other LGAs in the state are now trying to copy. But what I do not understand, and I believe when callers begin to call in from even Ogbaigbe-Mandori, where I believe they know more about them, is I want to know how they came into operation. Was it by bylaw of the local government area, or it was a kind of limited company, security company registered by somebody and offered to work? I would like to know the law establishing them. But in as much as there was no law emanating from the State House of Assembly, that means they cannot operate beyond the boundaries of ONERGA. Operating beyond the boundaries of ONERGA means overstepping. Because if the law that established them was made at the ONERGA Legislative Assembly, then it is only within the boundaries of ONERGA that they can operate. But then they were on their own. People from other LGAs who are having security issues and seeing what they have doing, they have decided to invite them. Also, I believe that those LGAs never also knew that they ought not to have requested people working in other LGAs to their LGA, even without a state law or without a law or a resolution by their own legislative assembly authorizing that kind of action to be taken. Because before an operation of that magnitude takes place in a local government area, a bill is supposed to be sent or request made by the state as the legislative assembly and debated on the floor and approved before the council chairman can take that kind of action. But what we have had, we never had anything that has to do with, the local government chairman meeting with the legislative assembly and then having that kind of approval before they were inviting them to come. But what the statement of the governor now, I believe all those processes have been halted. And then I don't also support the issue of duplicating security apparatuses within the state. And I know that OSPAC was there before the issue of neighborhood watch came on board. And now the governor has kind of made the neighborhood watch a kind of an institution with a commission, and the agency has been established and everything is being done. Then OSPAC will be integrated into that system. They will be glad to join, the neighborhood watch and work with them, because they will now begin to have structured salary, they will begin to have pension, they will begin to have gratuity, and then work under a state law. And then when the issue of state police we are clamoring for eventually comes on board, there will not also be a duplication, that maybe the state police apparatus will be different. Those who have been recruited under the neighborhood watch can automatically be upgraded and with the amendment of the bill, of the law establishing them, and they become the state police to Rivers State. And if we get it well, I believe other states will also emulate from us. So I support the idea of non-proliferation of this structure. But then the question is that there is something I learned the OSPAC people use to give them that kind of power. Is neighborhood watch ready to allow them operate the same way, using the same thing? I don't understand. I don't know what those
what's
things
that
are.
power?
That power to operate in the neighborhood watch.
That's what I'm saying. What's this power that OSPAC
I don't
has?
know, but I learned
African juju.
Okay, all right then. Let me get to you now, Daniel Momo.
Yes, while you were also saying what, reading what the governor said, something came to mind. Was I hope that there's no security breach. The governor is the chief security officer of the state. And I expect that because this was publicly advertised, what I saw on social media, I saw local government chairmen and OSPAC members. There was photographs taken, they had actually invited them. So if the governor of the state is saying this, and I expect that at every security meeting, these issues are raised. Local government raise these issues. Local government chairman will raise these issues and actually confide in His Excellency about what to do and about the steps that they are taking. Now, if the governor is not aware that a security unit in a particular local government is moving to another local government, that should first have his approval and have the fact that he's aware of what they are going to do there. And so, because if he's saying that what OSPAC is doing now, he does not want a proliferation of where you have several bodies doing the same thing and moving from one local government to another. That means that the governor in the first place was not aware that OSPAC is leaving its own place there and coming to Equatorial land or going to other local government to help solve the security issues. And I also think that, you see, why I would also want to appreciate what the governor is saying here is that we should learn from the Bakassi issue and let's have clearly what the Neighborhood Security Watch mandate is and its responsibility and to the limit at which they can go. Because I have seen several pictures of where you say certain persons were shot, killed by OSPAC. The first question is that, do they have license to kill anybody?
They don't move with arms.
We should be careful. That's why I said I appreciate what the governor is saying, so that we don't turn out like the Bakassi issue, where, yes, go to Onitsha those days. In fact, when I was serving in Anambra, in Onitsha, when it is almost 6, you see people running to go home. At least look for a place to just hide your head. They came, they did a lot of things, but at a point, they became a small god to every other person. And so if somebody takes my girlfriend, I go to report. If somebody's owing me money, I go to report. When a landlord wants to eject a stubborn tenant, he goes there to report. And it became certain things that we had to now be begging God to please erase this out of the way for us. So I want to appreciate the fact that the governor is saying this. And whether OSPAC uses whatever power or use anything. The point is that we all surrender to the government and let the government take the lead. And let's look at what are the mandates and responsibilities that this neighborhood watch will be having, so that let us pack it. If it's okay, sorry, we cannot be part of this, we'll go back, retrieve ourselves, go back to our chef and leave everything for. So if they are ready, like he said, which I think is also good, so that maybe we'll see that the part of the responsibility that they will get salary at the end of the month, we have pensions, so that people can commit their life, commit whatever they have into doing this. But aside that, I think we should learn. Though OPC was not a government, like you said, right?
No,
OPC was not a government, but it was people under Frederick Fashion and the other OPC man, Gani Adams, who actually raised, and they did a fantastic job until it became also what Bakassi. So we should be careful. I'm not saying what else PAC are not doing, but what are the mandate and what are the responsibilities and what are the limits that they can go? Because the law in Nigeria provides that you can make arrest. I can arrest it. Any man can arrest a thief, but you cannot prosecute that thief. You would rather handle that person who you think or allegedly think that has committed a crime, hand over that person to the police. And so the question again would remain, what is their limit? I've seen pictures of where they said OSPAC and armed robbers in a gun battle. And so are you permitted to even shoot gun? Who gave you that permission? So a lot of questions that, yes, they are taking this responsibility, which is good. But let us know their mandate and their responsibility, to the limit at which they can go. For me, it is good. I appreciate what the governor is saying in relation to that. And let us have a pool of it so that we know when one man go out of the line, we know how to bring him back.
All right then. Okay. Well, but what about the angle where he says that, what will be different vigilantes for different councils will not remain as we know it. So perhaps like Job Vigilante will cease to exist, OSPAC will cease to exist. Everything will now collapse into the neighborhood watch. How does that in itself further in dissolving this structure as we see centralized already as we have now from the federal? We wanted it to have something in the states. I think somebody mentioned that earlier when we were talking about.
Yeah.
So, if your state too is also having one central pool like this, even though they're all going to be stationed in local governments, do you think that having it centered is a better approach, or that we could have vigilantes who can also work alongside the neighborhood safety corps?
I think there should be vigilantes, even though there's a central pool like at the state government zone. Because, for instance, if you have a neighborhood watch alone, all the issues won't be settled at the local level.
But the neighborhood watch will also be centered at each local government. I don't think they're going to be in one state.
No, if you center them, you see, for me, I don't think
because I understand that when they were recruiting, they made sure that they recruited from the 23 local government areas, so that the people are from those. Yes, the people are from these local governments. I'll get to you, Emmanuel. Yes.
Yeah. So if you have this neighborhood watch, let's say they are taken from local governments and all that, will it be enough? Wouldn't they be hinterland security like what they call them? Vigilant group, of course. Will it be out of place? I think even every village is supposed to have those who will serve as his hawk. So if you just rely on the state-owned, maybe sometimes before the state-owned will be activated, because I'm seeing it something that will act like the police now. That a governor, for instance, may say, we need this and that. The police will call Abuja first for the IG to give approval. So, if the neighborhood watch is the one that will take charge of everything, wouldn't there be a delay? Certain things that should be nipped in the bud with the speed of light at the local levels will be waiting for the approval of the neighborhood watch. Will it move the state forward in terms of security? So, I think there should be always those who work at the hinterland as vigilant groups. But if they now say it must be like OPSPAC, let us also remember, you see, this thing, the issue of Bakassi, I know it too well. That when it was growing, at that time I was writing, I said, this thing will become a monster that will not be managed, as if I knew exactly what was going to happen. When it burst, I wrote again and said, I hammered on this and nobody listened. But it's good they are now looking for a way to dismantle this apparatus. So for me, I think even families will always have those who, for instance, anything that happens in the night, they wake up. So it will not completely exclude the hinterland security apparatus. But it's good in the sense of coordination in terms of the neighborhood watch. Now, like you are talking about the Diobu vigilante groups, if, for instance, neighborhood watch comes, I don't think that one will be necessary because that is within the city here. But they may have certain people that will still be doing anything, but they will be affiliated to neighborhood watch. That's what I feel.
All right. Okay. All right. Fine face.
Yeah, this is becoming very interesting and is broadening as we discuss. And I believe the government will listen and see how they will channel their policies to getting this thing work. Now, OSPAC is effective today, in a way, effective today, because several things are playing out. Now, some of these things that are playing out that is making OSPAC effective, will it still be able to play out when they are all submerged and merged and converted into neighborhood watch? Now, the first thing is that I don't really know the staff strength of OSPAC. I believe when callers call in, they know their staff strength, they should let us know the total number of people that OSPAC has employed and that are working in Onega. We will need to know that. And then we'll get to know whether when they are now merged with the neighborhood watch, whether that number of staff currently working for OSPAC will still be able to be maintained in Ogbagbemando and local government area. Would the same thing be able to be replicated in other local government areas across the state? The same thing will happen in Diobu. As it is today, those people have been able to provide security for their communities through this vigilante group. And basically, their recruitment and screening into neighborhood watch is going to be able to help them to do more. But if you don't have those number of people within that community supporting and providing security, we'll still have lapses the same way we are having today with the normal conventional police. So I am thinking that the agency will need to do more by looking at their pockets and then making sure they recruit as many people as possible and then integrating them with the existing vigilantes in the various communities. They can make them a kind of volunteers, and then their key officials posted to those areas will supervise and work with them to get information to be able to police the area in conjunction with the regular police. But I think that if that is not done and logistics not provided, they may not be able to be as effective as they are doing today. Because the moment OSPAC is integrated into neighborhood watch and they are now beginning to take instruction from the center, and then the action is not being very quick, you will see that neighborhood watch, as it will now be, and as OSPAC will now dissolve into them, will be there, and crime will begin to increase. Because the action they are taking today, the moment there are many points they need to go to before they get approval, before they take action, and all these protocols, before you know, they will not be able to be as effective as they are. So I think the agency should be able to sit down, map it out in such a way that when neighborhood work comes on board, they will still be as active as we have OSPAC today in supporting local security.
All right then. Daniel Momo.
See, infusing these people, I think certain things are running through my head. First, ego. You see, this issue of I beg to apply, Annie, and in some of these security agencies, it is the first come, first serve that becomes senior. Now, how about the leaders in OSPAC? Who, like you said now in quote, success over the years, and you want to fuse them into the neighborhood watch. Now, there are people who are in neighborhood watch in their community who will become the leader. If not properly managed, who will become the leader? Are you saying that OSPAC would now, when you fuse them, so they will now go under neighborhood, they will now be under neighborhood watch? And how about the leaders who have been in neighborhood watch, who are in their communities there? What would happen to those ones? Will those ones now begin to bow to the fact that OSPAC has been submerged into the neighborhood watch? So ego would play, if not properly managed, to say that, okay, we have been doing this work, we have been successful in this thing, and now you want us to come and be part of you. maybe the structure, maybe in Onelga, for example, will be surrendered completely to those who are coming. Because you have it in politics to say that when big bets are coming into a state, you had the issue of Bukola Saraki, you have the issue of Kano, for example, using politics now. And then you have all the structures under the state to go under that man. And so, if not properly managed, there will be problem. Two is that I think in doing all of this too, in trying to bring them to become one, let us look at what has made OSPAC successful. What has made the other one you mentioned, was it Job?
Job, yes, Job Vigilante.
So that, is there something that we can rewrite in the law? Is that something that we can correct? Is that something that we can add from the experiences of these persons who are coming to also join? Are there things that can be added to say, okay, I think we left this out of the law. Can we go back and rejig this law and look at this law again to further to be able to accommodate other persons who are also coming? And lastly, I think also too, in doing all of this, you see, you also cannot take away politics. I think when it comes to this issue of OSPAC and others, let us try as much as possible to take away politics from it. Because I know that it was a local government chairman under the PDP too who sets up
OSPAC.
Okay, now, what if another government come? What would happen? Are they going to, because we saw the issue of when Amici was there and other securities, those things have been dismantled. What would happen? So these are questions that let those who will be drafting the law, those who will be looking at the policies, not look at today, not look at the man in office today, that in the next 10, 15, 20 years, will this thing still be relevant and still drive the same process? And so those are the things that we should begin to look at. So let us downplay politics out of it completely and let it be like it's a reverse thing, so that when another reverse man come, he would appreciate what is on ground.
All right then.
You
Okay.
see, Annie,
Yes.
there's one danger that lurks very ominously in this whole thing, which find face into that. Whatever it is that is making us back tick the way they are ticking, I tell you, it will be neutralized when they merge with neighborhood watch. Because, in court, I remember in the 60s, when some people in Akwa Ibom, Uyo, to be precise, said that there were some humans that were coming to eat them, what they call witchcraft and all that. In court, it was as if there was nothing like witchcraft. They said, what do you mean that your fellow human will just grow wings and then fly and all that? Until one woman came to that particular court and told them that all these things you people are saying, they are real, they happen. So the judge said, take this woman away and all that. Meanwhile, all of them know that such thing exists. And so the woman said, okay, you said I should be thrown out. I will show you people now in the court. The woman stood up and started singing one kind of song only themselves know where they got it from. And then those people that were arrested, he said before she will sing up to 30 minutes that all of them will be just standing up and then growing in height and in height. And the roof of that court will be pulled. It was there like something. It's not in court. They started singing, and those people started just nudging themselves. At a point in time, they rose. And the woman continued until their head reached the ceiling.
This is in Akwa Ibom.
Yes, in Akwa Ibom, in Uyo, in the 60s. So, the issue is that when it reached like that, the judge himself, who knows exactly what happens within that area, said, stop. Then they took a position on that judgment and started arresting all the people that were using that means, which they often deny don't exist. So there is something that made us because they are not the only vigilantes. So if this unification is done, I tell you, that thing will just go into hiding. And OSPAC will not be OSPAC again. The success story will change to perhaps maybe near failure or near success.
Oh, but what if Neighborhood Watch adopts it?
No, that's what I'm saying. Because it belongs to government. Government will never come out to regularize something of witchcraft or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, even during the period of Bakassi Boys, which was supposed to be owned by government support, there were stories about how Bakassi Boys went about that too, with some sort of black magic.
No, it depends on how liberal that government would say. Let us take off our hands from the whole thing and then leave it to traditionalists. If it happens before you see, the success story will remain. If not, just check what is making the police not have the same rate of success like Auspac and all that. It is because government will always tell you there is nothing like that kind of thing. They are saying they are fairy stories.
And we believe these stories exist.
Of course.
All right,
of course. Because there is God, there is Satan, it's not in doubt.
Of course.
Okay, then. All right. In any which case, what I think I'm concerned about is if the neighborhood watch itself, as the governor proposes, becomes entrenched in all the local governments and you don't have a vigilante group that can work side by side by them. I think that local government should be able to have some sort of security architecture to that works with them, and that can also interface with the neighbor. Maybe they say, as long as you get to this point, it's just like how OSPAC too, at one point they say OSPAC can, to the point of maybe arrest a person, but the police must come in from that point, investigate and do the rest. I think they can also have that sort of synergy with the neighborhood safety corps and say, this is what local government vigilantes can do, or community vigilantes can do to this extent, upon which they must invite the neighborhood watch perhaps to take over from there or to take charge. And then, of course, the fact that the proliferation, as the governor did say, I remember when that first came out, I can't remember which local government was inviting OSPAC to come over. I think one of the... Yes. One of the
local government chairman.
One of the very first things we said was that... is this going to turn out to be some sort of Bakassi boy things? Because I remember Bakassi boys, after a while, we could hire them.
That's how it started,
come over to my place and deal with the boys here. And then that turned ugly eventually, if that was what OSPAC was going to become here within us. So, yeah, I think I'll agree with that, with the governor. If Ikwere wanted to have its own vigilante group too, I'm sure they can learn from what OSPAC is doing and get their own form of vigilante in their region. But then the governor is even saying all vigilante groups will fall under neighborhood watch.
But remember what happened? I think there was a story, as you were talking, something I remember. There was a story where when this guy was killed, what's his name now?
Don Wani?
Yes.
Don Wani, yeah.
And then OSPAC had to invite a bank manager. We discussed a story here.
Yes. I locked him up for a while.
And my question was why? If there was anything you suspected, at that point, leave it to the police to take over from that. So in that too, you see, so that nobody goes beyond their
limits, their boundaries, yeah.
Because how can you invite a bank manager and then you detain a bank manager for what?
What law gives them power to do that? Even this morning we heard in the news how someone was shot dead by OSPAC because the person they were arguing over ID card or whatever. Why not demobilize the person? Shoot the person's leg or hand. You shot the person there. That is extrajudicial killings.
Die. That was it.
No,
the intention was to kill.
Allegedly
so here
kill.
the idea was to kill and not to disarm.
And it's not good. I don't support people being killed outrightly. If there is reason why you must shoot the person, you demobilize the person, pick the person to the police for investigation of the matter, but you just kill the person off. I don't support that kind of idea. And I think, I don't know whether the law establishing OSPAC permits them to, it's recognized by the Federal Republic of Nigeria, by the Constitution, and also
even police, you are not supposed to kill.
And also permits them to carry gun to the extent that they can kill somebody outrightly.
These things do happen. For instance, the killing may not be intentional.
But it may not be intentional. But hold on.
Permit you to use
good.
I think
that's the angle that is very appropriate.
That would be the first focus.
Why are you moving with
armed?
I listened to Mr. Okoro.
Why are you armed? And if they are armed, what kind of training do they have? Because if they have the right trainings, you probably know that you can shoot this person without having to kill them, to demobilize them or to disarm them. What kind of training did they get for them to become experts in handling arms? And of course, the authorities that have agreed that this can happen. But I remember several times when we spoke of vigilantes here, we said, what power will vigilantes have if they're not going to be armed because of the kind of criminals we have here? Funny enough,
there will always be victims.
You were in a seminar yesterday, or not? It's not a seminar; it was a town hall meeting, that's organized by the BBC, where they were speaking on proliferation of small and light weapons, and it is the reason why the rate of crime here is on the increase. When I say here, I don't mean River State alone. Nigeria as a whole is the fact that there's easy access to arms. So if you're going to say vigilantes can't bear arms, and which was one of the major reasons why the neighborhood watch didn't go into action at the time when it was supposed to, was the issue of whether they can bear arms or not. And you said they should deal with criminals that we know have access to these weapons as easy as going to the store to buy rice.
Will they use cane and be waving at them while the other people are using?
Emmanuel, you mentioned something about black magic.
It should be difficult for them to fight.
You said something about black magic.
It should be difficult.
Doesn't accept that.
But what I think needs to be done is that let the governments work with the federal government. They agree on the type of gun that they can get. Look at the relevant laws and agree on it, because there is no how you.
No, but even state permitted to buy arms.
Okay, those are the issues that need to be addressed.
They are not.
They need to address those issues, because you cannot put this neighborhood watch or let's say we've had the issue of the neighborhood watch having issue with the police and whether they should bear arms or not. Now OSPAC has been bearing arms and performing well.
Wonders.
And now they get them into neighborhood watch and they are disarmed. Before you know, those people they have been going after will begin to kill them.
Of course.
And it becomes a problem. So they need to sit down and redesign everything and make sure that they are not moving from where they were being active to inactive. Because if they must achieve something very good, they must work the same way they have been working. So whatever way they have been operating that makes them to be effective, neighborhood watch should try as much as possible to make them operate at that level, looking at the relevant and extant laws of giving them that kind of power to operate.
You know, I'm looking to having very grounded conversations concerning this on our forthcoming anti-cultism summit, because part of the stakeholders who are invited, I beg your pardon, we have the security architecture, we have state government, and we have vigilante groups, because we understand how vigilante groups have had to deal with cult members in their different locations and different local governments where they have had to deal with them. It will be interesting to find out how they're able to deal with this group of people without arms, because that has continually been a problem when we talk about vigilantes and local forces within our communities. How do you deal with criminals who have access to crime? And like I read in our news, because we did have representatives at that BBC town hall meeting. Some of the people there said that they have access to guns, because even those licensed to bear the arms hired out to them.
Yes.
You see?
Okay,
it's become a trend.
So even if you're going to deny that there is ability for these criminals to get weapons on the black market, you have security force here who are hiring their own weapons out on a pay-as-you-go basis. And then you say your vigilante group that you want to establish to combat these people shall not be armed, except if it's black magic, where you might have said you wave the cane. Except if that's how we want to deal. Except that's how I want to deal with this, and I don't know how much of a success rate that will be.
We are going to record, and we are also going to have the issue of what type of arms
government will
is
not
the
even
security team, like the neighborhood watch, going to have. The highest kind of arm, by my understanding, that they may approve for them is pump action. If they approve pump action for them, it is still a deficiency, but they just can't go beyond that, because the criminals they are going to fight may be using AK-47 and you are using pump action. I wonder how you want to win them. But then that is what the law provides. And I believe that whatever operation that they are doing should be community-based, and anyone that goes beyond their powers is referred to the police. And that is why they need to do a kind of tabulate the functions and roles of the neighborhood watch and that of the police, to make sure there is no clash or conflict, where the power begins and where it ends, and where that of the police continues from, and stuff like that in their community. Because I believe that in every community, whatever little arm they are given should be sufficient for them to police their community, and whatever is beyond their powers, they refer to the police.
All right, then. Oh, Daniel.
I know, but there's something while you were talking. There was the day I remembered we were in traffic. I think this big man thing that we used to have, once there's a traffic, the police will just come down and clear every other person off the road so that the big man can go. And at a point, the policeman just put his gun up and then started shooting. At least I know that he
to clear
shot
the
off,
path.
he shot off almost about 5 or 6 bullets. Now, is it that for every bullet given to a policeman, they should account for it?
They do. No, but they do account.
No, then how then do you then rent your gun and give?
No, you rent guns. They go and buy their bullets.
From where?
Where are they buying it from before?
But you then know where they buy it from.
The thing is that what you said. Now let's assume that the black market does not exist, and so they can also get from the licensed police officer. And I'm saying that, do they even account for each bullet they take out of station to say ABC bullet?
They know how they retire it.
I would think. Hold on.
That's what came to my mind.
I would think that in a case where there's ability to hire out a weapon, it means there's a porous avenue for them in their accounting of the weapons given to them.
Yes.
If not, if it wasn't porous enough, they won't have that ability to even hire out in the first place. But because there is a period, or there's a way, there's a scheme, or there's whatever that is overlooked, they can give out their weapons. Then what is bullets that they won't give out to if they can still use that same system?
If that man had come there and shot about 5 bullets,
but then we know that there's a huge market for bullets. I mean, this guy said the other day when we're reading about it, the Nigerian army, how many ammunition that I think it was from Oyo, with that region, when they said they recovered from a major black market in that area. Yeah. When I saw the number of arms that they got from it, I was shocked. But this is something that happens. Some people tell you that those figures are even very little. You go to places, what is a million bullets? You are talking of people who have 5 million bullets. Wow. So people actually have this as a source of livelihood. Because there was something I did say though. I said, as long as there is a steady demand for these things, there will always be a supply, one way or the other.
Yeah. And from the meeting we had yesterday, the BBC Town Hall meeting, Talk Your Own, Make Nigeria Better, it will still be aired on the station. People will hear. We were looking at small arms proliferation in Nigeria, challenges to internal security. If you hear what people were saying yesterday, you will be shocked. To the extent that they were even talking about the fact that they are even the people that sell this bullet out. And before they sell you a packet of bullet, they remove 5 for themselves. So when you talk about 5 now, that just came to my mind. So each of them remove 5 for themselves. And I asked them when they were talking about how they pick their phones and call people to come and buy bullets and things like that. I asked them that, why should a phone of a local person like me be tracked and they don't track their phone? They told me that they don't use this smartphone that we use, so nobody can track them. So a lot of stories are told.
It's revealing.
You will be shocked.
So that's what everybody that has that small, the smartphone.
No, but they can't penetrate that.
I always look at people with that very small.
Yeah,
why do you have this?
Yes.
But then why can't it be tracked? Hold on. But as long as your line is verified on your network, why can't it be tracked?
What they track your phone for, what they use to track your phone comes from your smartphone. Doesn't come from the SIM card. Except there's some technology from what we are told there yesterday. We learned from them yesterday. We learned a lot from them.
From the network providers.
No, from these people from the security team, SECO, and the court guys that we are discussing some of these issues yesterday.
No, because it's just like when the plane fly. When the plane leaves Port Harcourt, for example, is in contact with the
control room.
The control room here. Yeah. As soon as is leaving the Port Harcourt distance, it gets in contact with another. So also, if I leave my house, the MTN mast is following. That's why I have network. Is following this line. Except a place where there is no more network, I won't see a network on my phone. So it is not. Sometimes, if you want to now track, that's why they tell you don't buy a stolen phone. The phone has a tracker. The SIM also has it. The SIM can track you to a location.
To a mast.
Yeah. The mast. They cannot track you to a particular room, which I agree. But it can track you to a location.
So we
I think what tracks you to a particular room is your smartphone.
Yes, it's a smartphone.
It's a smartphone because it emits your what they call
Location.
that thing,
GPS.
GPS.
Yeah.
They meet your GPS. So that is what they can say. Okay, down to this particular house is where the signal is being emitted from. But with your SIM card, I think by mast it can be local. This mast is serving this area, and then your SIM card is on. I think it can be tracked because funny enough, as you said that, I said, am I going to start looking at people with all those small phones? I see a lot of people with those very small phones. They'll have the normal smartphone, and I see them with that. I'm like, why do you have to have that?
No, you see what we are talking about.
And I'm seeing one here. And
yes, there's one. You see what we are talking about. We must not forget that authority supervises authority.
Oh, of course, of course.
When you are talking about the same can track to a location, and then is it must will track you because there's network and all that. There could also be a gadget that will make them very dormant. Absolutely, they can't track. And if such people have such gadgets, it's settled. Nobody will track them anywhere at all.
Well,
even if they climb the mast.
Well, I don't know about this. They might.
I know. Myself,
we don't know too. They might have scramblers. They might have jammers. But the truth is that if we are not ready to fix this, if we don't want to talk about this, and I was so excited about the small arms proliferation discussed yesterday. It is important we know why these things are the way it is, why it's ongoing, and the best way to deal with it. Well, the River State government has said in dealing with this going forward, they will have the neighborhood watch come on board. Local government vigilantes will dissolve into, it says, anybody who thinks that they want to help with the security issues in River State can join the neighborhood watch. But to have local vigilantes established as they are now, no, that's on one hand. And the second hand, to even have the proliferation where they begin to cross boundaries and step in from one local government to go and help another local government deal with their problems, that is also a no-no. And we said, as much as that is healthy in itself, we must also try and understand how the neighborhood safety corps will be able to deal with the unique problems of every local government, and in such a manner where we might be able to record some successes that OSPAC has done. Because I don't think any other local government would be inviting OSPAC over, if not because they also saw what OSPAC was doing in Onelga. Is it Onelga, right?
Yeah. Onelga,
yes, in Onelga. And of course, if that is what Neighborhood Watch will able to give Rivers people as a whole, I'm sure everybody will be hands on deck with working with that. But my biggest problem with that is if they won't have a local vigilante too that can work alongside with them, at least to a certain point where Neighborhood Watch takes over in that manner. But thankfully, in looking for further solutions to deal with the insecurity here, Today FM is coming up with a summit on the 6th of July, where we'll be looking at cultism particularly, and looking at ways where we can stem the tide of cultism, because we believe that the root, or should I say the backbone for so many different classes of crime as we have seen in River State can be linked to cultism. Speaking about proliferation of small arms, do you know, I also heard that too, that some cartel will only sell their guns to certain cult members, and you have to be like you're from this cult group before they sell to you. Yes, it's a business. I want to buy and sell. So, but then I'm also going to buy and sell if you're in this cult group too. So you can't come from cult A and say and come and buy gun from me, a dealer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a dealer. I'm just selling, but I'm only selling for cult members in C. You are coming from A, so I'm not selling to you. So that is also a problem too. In any which ways, we're looking forward to having this conversation on the 6th of July. And we'll see how, like so many people who have had one thing or the other to say concerning this, is that to see how, there's a working document that can come out from that summit where, holistically can deal with the problem as we have had it. But we'll be wrapping up on the conversations as we've had here now, and then open the phone line so that we can have our listeners be part of the conversation. You can send us your thoughts to 07019339962. The number again is 07019339962. That number is for the WhatsApp platform and the text message portal only. And then you can also go on social media. Our social media handle is at TodayFM951. And that's on Twitter and Instagram at TodayFM951. You can watch us live on YouTube. Simply search for Today 95.1 FM on YouTube. Click on the live button. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button. And then on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Today 95.1 FM. That's on Facebook. Do like that page. We can also get your thoughts on the conversation we've had so far. Remember, the first thing we spoke about was on whether the vice president said that the issue of kidnapping has been exaggerated while he was having a conversation with Nigerians in diaspora on Sunday in New York. He's come up to say that that's not what he said. What he particularly said was that there's so much hysteria that goes with information on social media. And that so some of these things that we see on social media, especially as regards the issue of kidnapping, we should not forget that some of them can be hysterical, since that is a form that has been seen on social media. And he says again that we have just had an election year, and some of these issues of crime are on the increase after an election year because, well, politicians arm some of these boys, and who after election do what they know best with the arms, which is quick money, getting quick money, kidnapped for ransom. And we have quite a number of Nigerians who have backlashed at that. We have the Pandef, we have the Ohaneze Indibo, and then you have the Niger Delta Forum, who are saying the government of Nigeria did stand firm on the issues and tried to deny how terrible things have become while they were out there on foreign land, which took us to the conversation of whether this is something we want to own up and not seem as if we're demarketing, because in other cases where they have gone ahead to say some things or have been alluded to have said some things, there was also that cry from Nigerians that was pretty demarketing of the nation, and that as leaders what they ought to do is try and clean up our image while there. And then from that we came to the issue of the governor of Rivers State, who says that, of course, there won't be proliferation of local vigilantes as we tried to see happen with OSPAC and Ikore local government area. And I can't remember, there's another local government that was hoping they could have them too.
Kana.
Yeah. Says, no, that won't happen. And, of course, there will no more. We didn't even get to talk about this one. When he says there will no more be state amnesty.
Yeah, I think we need to look at that issue. Right from time we had issue with the state amnesty, because in a way, you have to fight crime without having to grant them amnesty. And in this same country, there was the issue of the federal amnesty, presidential amnesty program, which they ought to have embraced. And even when the state started this amnesty program, they brought out these youths, took the arms, but at some point they were abandoned. Yesterday, at the Tokyo Will Make Nigeria Better, the arms proliferation discussion, one person from the presidency said when the Rivers State Amnesty Program was going on and they got some guns from them, they expected that they even invite them to be part of the process of profiling those guns before they can now think of how to dispose of those guns based on how they have been doing it across the country. But one night they just woke up and they told them that they have destroyed the guns and they didn't know what happened with the guns. Whether the guns were actually destroyed or returned to the hands of the bad boy that he didn't know. He made that comment yesterday, one of the panelists. So the point remains that it's a good deal because now the governor is out to fight this challenge by saying there will be no more amnesty. It's better. So we are calling on the youth to stop whatever they are doing, come out to live a better life, no matter how it is. I believe that God has deposited in everybody one or two talents that you can use to feed yourself without having to indulge in criminality, because we cannot continue like this.
All right, Daniel, what do you think about this issue where there will be no state amnesty?
There should be. I'm a supporter of amnesty, but I'm not a supporter of amnesty with cash. I'm a supporter of come, surrender whatever that you have. Even in the books that we call the holy books, God still gives you that room to say, I repent of my sin and I ask for forgiveness. It is way in this side of the world where we have turned it to cash and carry, to say that, oh yeah, bring your guns and take money. It is expensive to pursue crime. It is expensive to go after criminals. Instead of wasting that money, chasing them, investigating, putting money that was supposed to go for healthcare, money that was supposed to go for infrastructure, money that was supposed to go for a lot of things. putting it in chasing crime, it is expensive. If these boys can drop their guns and embrace amnesty of the government, so be it. Why would you cancel amnesty? It's like saying you cancel the fact that I am not going to forgive anybody. No, give room to people who feel that, genuinely feel that, look, I no longer want to be part of this. This is my arm take. But I am not for those who say, pay me for surrendering. No, 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 no. Let's not close that window. Why is it just like the one they call the carrot and stick?
Yeah.
Open the window. Why chase them? Why you want to make sure that you read them off your place? Also give the window to those who feel that they genuinely want to repent. But it is not the one that we practice here. The fact that we have to snap the pictures and no, no, no. If you are repenting, you repent. Let the state still keep that window open because it is expensive.
Right,
so I think what is here happening is any action is taken as a result of antecedents. This amnesty has been granted to you. You accepted wholeheartedly. And even though the giver accepted the scenario and all that, everything finished, but tomorrow you went back. So what happened? What kind of... Do you know, ordinarily, if a criminal is caught, he's supposed to face the music. But this one, you were pardoned. And later on, you went back. I think that's on that ground that the governor is saying, I can no longer do... There's a new one he mentioned, either banding or whatever, through the law enforcement agencies, in that...
Binding over.
Good. Now, you, for instance, it's not as if he's closing the issue of completely not forgiving criminals who have repented genuinely. He's saying that once you showcase that genuine repentance, let it be truly genuine. And what will happen is that you go through the law enforcement, and then you agree with them. You will never go back. So that should you deviate like this one they have treated the state own, then you face the music. Because as it stands now, all the people that were granted amnesty that went back, where are they? There's no way you can lay your hands again on them. So I think that's what the governor is trying to avoid. That if I have shown you the genuine pardon, the genuine amnesty, remain in that state you've accepted, not going back. But since it has turned out that they go back, okay, let's go through these people that will show you their true color once you relapse into that criminality again.
All right, then. Okay. So, well, phone lines are open to 0810-951-0951 or 0817-0000-951. Those are the numbers to reach us here. Let's get to your thoughts on all the issues. This text message here reads, the statement of the Vice President. Just one moment now. The statement of the Vice President over the degree of kidnapping in Nigeria is not a true reflection of the situation. It was a spirited and desperate effort made to launder the image of Nigeria. PNB must, as a matter of national urgency, initiate deliberate measures to check rising rate of unemployment in Nigeria than dissipating energy, glossing over such issues of high criminality. If Zamfara, Katsina, and many other states could come under the siege of these daredevil criminals, how else can one explain all this? VP should save these professorial semantics for other academic events. Chief Obinwa Kangwa, you sent that in. This is from Ernest from Woji. Said, so even Ogaima believes that you can shoot somebody with guns and bullets will not enter. If OSPAC have black magic, they should come, let's do experiments. Let's try machine gun and nuclear weapons on them. Well, I don't know which armed robber goes around with nuclear weapons, really.
What a man doesn't know is bigger than him. Of course.
So let's stick with just using the guns first before you bring in nuclear weapons. Maybe they have not, the juju has not tested itself on nuclear weapons yet. So let's stick with guns. Annie Anima, we River State youth leaders appreciate 95.1 FM Security Summit, but we're worried that River State youth leaders are not in the picture as critical stakeholders. Ambassador Mbali, I don't know how you can say River State youth leaders are not. They are. I mean, how is it even possible to have a security summit without River State youth leaders? Another here says, good morning. This is the first time Governor Wike made a statement that made me happy not to allow the formation of vigilante in River State. Allowing such will have been the end of the state with criminals all over in the name of security. It has started in some community in Obiakpo. Let them go and look for jobs. This is John from Port Harcourt. And there's neighborhood safety corps, really, if they're looking for jobs in the form of preferring security measures to the problems in River State. If the state government wants to integrate OSPAC into Neighborhood Watch, will police integrate Neighborhood Watch into Nigerian police, or does this not also amount to proliferation of security structure? That's from Chimeze. This here says opposition politicians are the ones carrying all forms of propaganda in order to derail the government in power and make the country ungovernable for them. But those opposition politicians should remember that what goes up must surely come down. And whoever or whatever anybody sows in the name of politics, he or she will surely reap it at the appropriate time. This is from Das in Port Harcourt. Annie, good morning. Akelachi, Wike, and Monosiki and Emoha local government chairman and others that were suspended by Wiki are loyal to Felix, and the governor approved it at Ogba against the approval of Obua. This is against. I don't even understand what you're trying to say here.
It's bringing politics.
Wiki wants everyone under his payroll. We are under. Okay, thank you very much. Annie, good morning. This is Evangelist Onyedikachi Amadi from Ozuzu Iche. For me, the vice president would have made a thorough investigation before asserting that kidnapping Nigeria is exaggerated. A good leader is that leader who will be bold to say, this golden cup break in my tenure. Please, how and where can we buy another golden cup to replace it? The governor's speech to stop proliferation of vigilante in all local government areas and to collapse OSPAC into the neighborhood watch is not well thought out. What is the modus operandi of the neighborhood watch? Are they to carry arms? Are they to physically apprehend and arrest criminals, or to give information to the police to act, which has not worked in the past? Security will only be effective when they have vigilance in local government areas. Vigilantes and OSPAC should complement the effort of both Neighborhood Watch and the police, unless the governor is bent on selling only his pet project, the Neighborhood Watch. Good morning, my sister. Any agent that is trying to fight crime in this state, government will acquiesce them. I don't know what you mean by that. The position of Governor Wike regarding the integration of and assimilation of OSPAC into Neighborhood Watch is apt and most acceptable, as much as it is devoid of political sentiments. The integration process of OSPAC should be such that it will not throw away the magic wands that made OSPAC thick and formidable as a security outfit in Onelga. The Neighborhood Watch leadership must be willing to learn from the exploits of OSPAC than riding on a high horse of ego. Which is more interesting at this point is that the state government has underscored the imperative need to safely police the state. Chief Obinwa Kanwa, you sent that into. Annie, killing, kidnapping, banditry, gangsterism, etc. are dangerous siblings whose parents is terrorism. Annie, tell me which part of this country is this scourge not reported? Whether this issue is exaggerated or not does not take away the fact that they do exist in a disturbing proportion. Our elites should think of ending this plaguing scourge instead of involving in unnecessary dialectics. This is from James Upongoa. He sent that from Uzoba. And this is, I disagree with Daniel Momo. I support the governor. No more amnesty. Eye for an eye. Tooth for tat. I think it's tit for tat is what you meant to say. Zach sent that in. Another here says, good morning, Annie. Please take them easy. Okay.
We too.
I don't know. I'm trying to see the rest of
it. Here today, I know.
Take them easy. This is from Jikolodo. All right, Jikolodo.
Take easy about
I don't know. Real Love from LL says, good morning, Annie, and your analysts. River State government and her stakeholders should come together and negotiate how the security of River State is going to work. As for amnesty, it has not taken any positive direction because those boys are not engaged in any way. Most cultists, kidnappers, and armed bandits are still collecting amnesty. Remember, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. All right, phone lines open up now. 0810-951-0951. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Gentle Bobo, calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to contribute to the neighborhood watch issue of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You see, my fear is, given these boys born, as if you are deliberating in the studio, you see, if you find out some of these boys that are being integrated into this neighborhood watch, most of them belong to one particular court or another. And even if when arming these boys, they will go about witch hunt their opponent. And I think giving these people guns is not important. They should only give information and not giving them guns, because this will cause another kind of crisis in our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Got your thoughts there. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, KSP.
All right. Where are you calling from?
Rumusi.
Go ahead.
I never expected Pandev, part of Afenifere, and Midubet and Ohaneze to clap for vice president. I never expected that. If they have done that, I would be happy. Nigeria is maybe getting better, because already some of us know where they are. Apart from that, I want to ask, is my vice president just realizing that there is a political angle to this whole thing? Because I know several times the state governor will shout, some of these things you are doing it to demarcate the state. You will still hear some of they say no, he's not saying the truth. So his vice president, is he just realizing that truly these things apply, that there are some persons who want to purposely do these things to make sure they discredit the effort and all the rest of the federal government. So sometimes when people shout, we should not just come out because we want to play politics. Because several times the state governor Wike, will be shouting, some of these things you are saying and posting, they are not true. They say, no, just, in fact, he will go ahead to say that demarcating the state, we will not agree. Today, Vice President is saying the same thing. We are clapping. The governor gathers some persons and say, go and fight security in your place, in your local government. They say, hey, you are handing over. My president gathers some persons. He said, in fact, governors, he said, go and fight it. Was he handing over? When people are saying the truth, we appreciate. I thank the vice president for saying the truth. But please, you should not just remember now, because it has been, even in our state level.
All right,
some persons are playing this politics.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, then we got your thoughts. Thank you very much. Hello, Today 95.1 FM.
Yes, I agree with that crew there.
All right, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I am Matthew Kalio.
All right, Matthew Kalio, good to have you on the show.
Everybody in the studios.
Good morning, sir.
I think the governor's statement is very, very gallant and timely. You see, so a caller just asked a question. Most of these vigilante go call them security. Most of them are even the cultists. Most of them are cult members. So how do we get it right? Where do we start from? Now everywhere vigilante, neighborhood watch, this, that, this. My own summit office, even if they form these vigilantes, DSS, top-ranking military or police officers should scrutinize to test each and everyone that belongs to any of these vigilante groups to see that no one is of a questionable character, no one is a cultist. Well, it's very difficult to even know who is a cultist and who is not a cultist. They should not be armed with ammunition, but they should be equipped with communication gadgets, control room equipment, patrol van. They must have hotline that goes through with that of the police, the army, the SSS or whatever, so that they can curb this menace in our society in as much as they want to help the society, in as much as they are sincere to themselves and that of the public.
All right, then.
I think the government should help them to do these things so that all these social vices will be wiped out in the society. Thank you very much.
All right, we got your thoughts there. Thank you so much. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning, Annie.
Yes.
My name is Amusi Chima.
All right.
From Port Harcourt.
All right, Mr. Chima, go ahead.
Yes, Annie, I think we are afraid to actually address the issue. What gave rise to OFPAC today we are calling? What gave rise to OFPAC is the deteriorating security architecture that we all witness here in Nigeria. The people who are ordinary, who are supposed to protect life and property, have refused to protect it, and are doing the other way around. That is what gave rise to OSPAC. I'm not holding truth for them, but governor must remember that the process with which OSPAC came to be, you understand? I'm not saying that us to kill innocent person, not at all, it is wrong. They are going beyond their boundaries. Should they kill an innocent person, should they execute person, they are going beyond their boundaries. But the issue here is which process that brought us back is the traditional security architecture that we are witnessing in River State, in Nigeria as a whole. You understand? The people now, and I came up with suggestion. Please, let them legalize arms, and let them legalize arms. Everybody can go with an arm. When somebody who is coming to rob me, know that I'm with arms. We never dare, because it will be a 50-50. You understand? God bless Nigeria. Thank you. I remain Ahuti Chima.
All right, then. Thank you so much.
Nobody can change that.
Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning, my sister Annie.
Good morning, Kiss. Good to have you. Go ahead.
Thank you, guy, man, everybody in the studio. Francis.
Good morning.
Everybody, good morning. Yes, Annie, concerning my able governor, frankly speaking, this morning I will agree and disagree with my governor. I'm telling you, just like what Ashima pointed out, you cannot tell me with all this insecurity, even federal government, at a point we were crying, blaming federal government for not even assisting you. You were on top of your voice, and we were using our own credit and our time, everything to support you, to shout at them. And now on Elga, I think someone was asking the number of persons if it is by law. It is by law. I followed this thing up because it was the former caretaker chairman. But now people are trying to call in OSPAC. Yesterday I called him. I said, if at all they killed innocent person, the set of those guys, that very thing, should pay for that very crime. Because you cannot just take laws into your hands. If that person is innocent or not, as long as the person did not shoot at you, as a person, I mean, you have every right to take life. Do you know why? If someone is about taking your life, you can defend yourself. That is the area I'm coming from. But if without that you just go ahead and take that life.
Yeah, but in defending yourself too, you can do it in such a way where you don't kill the person. I hope you know that.
But in terms of the OSPAC, what I'm saying, just like what Fineface pointed out, you are even supposed to even shut at the leg. But in your own house, and if armed robbers come to your house and they want to take your life, you have every right to defend and to take that life of that armed robber. That is the law. If people don't know, they should know. But in terms of OSPAC, they have all that it takes to arrest that very man. So my governor, for once, please, don't follow people that are shouting OSPAC as a cross-boundary and all the rest. For now, OSPAC, the fear of OSPAC is the beginning of wisdom for these criminals. I'm telling you for now. So I don't want to support my governor in terms of shouting at OSPAC or being angry with them. You can caution them as the chief security officer of that very state. Then, after now, integrate them into that bigger body. Yes, they need to do that so that all team Dick and Harry, Tom, Dick and Harry will just spring up from somewhere. At the end of the day, it will still go to the table of the governor that you are not in charge of the state. You understand? We know how to play politics with everything. So thank you. Yeah.
All right, then we got your thoughts there. Thank you so much. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Annie, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Steve Mbo. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, go ahead.
Good. I want to talk a little about this neighborhood and the I remember this neighborhood day was called, they called for a public debate before the House of Assembly passed that law. And I'm very sure at least, let me say 90% of those from that house, they are not daft. Everybody could be very intelligent, but at least they have the duty to do. They call to duty they give them to do it, and they have done it. What I want to appeal, they should encourage them because this law has already been passed. Let us encourage them to make sure the law is not implemented. Not to now start picking holes into law that has been passed, that your analysts are doing in the studio. Why would this one happen, this one not happen? Those are not necessary at this stage we are. We're looking for a solution, not to start because no matter how you go, this law, you cannot go back and revise that law. And they call for a policy debate, and I'm sure most of them were supposed to have contributed to that debate to make sure this law, so there's any T and needs to be dotted, done the right time. So, and I'm sure that, secondly, this neighborhood, in each of the local government, governor said, the local government can to open an office. If you pass in my local government, and in fact, I saw it in Tai, I saw it in Gokana, there's a signboard, neighborhood. Each of the local government has a, it says you open office to them, for them. So these are doing the same operating office, so that what they are doing in the community, and if a local government open office, it means it covers the whole small, no matter the unit of the community, of that local government, it covers. So you cannot say somebody in his own house is operating. No, you should be answerable to that local government, because that is why that's the headquarters of that place you are. So I think that thing should be done. And you to let only people in the law that have been passed.
All right, then we got your thoughts on that too. Thank you very much. Hello, Today 95.1 FM.
Hello, Andy.
Yes, please. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is DK in Port Harcourt.
All right, Dickie, go ahead.
Yes, my greetings also to your guest in the studio.
Morning.
And you see, security will continue to dodge us until we shift emphasis from crime fighting to crime prevention. As we're all talking about these things, nobody is even after how arms comes into this country. How these boys have their arms. We continue to talk about fighting crime. I just want to end there. Going to the issue of the vice president, I think he's just saying the obvious, that politics is responsible for what we are saying. I have been saying it. When people say he's trying to demarket Nigeria, I do not know what they mean. Whether the best way to market Nigeria is to have a bad product and make advertisement, or to make the product good. So that is it. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you so much. We got your thoughts on that. A text message here says, Annie, good morning. Do people expect Osibanjo to demarket Nigeria? And even all the killings and kidnappings in River State, Governor Wike still maintain that River State is safe and nobody's raising alarm. Why raising alarm in this one? Is it because it's Osibanjo? This is Ifeanyi Chukwu Ngodo. And the VP is saying his statement is taken out of proportion about kidnap. What about his statement of since 2010, the previous government didn't put anything on ground? But former president told him is a lie. Sonny Uzoba, you sent that in. And these are happening because some persons use it to achieve, e.g. the man representing... All right. Oh, boy, thank you. One thing I have not heard from callers is how did a security problem start? Which is very important in dealing with security matters. You must find why there is that availability of crime. What is feeding that system? Good morning, Annie. Let each local government be responsible for security apparatus in their locality and collaborate with the police and the army so that it can be achieved. I am Mike Akpan from LMA. Governor Wike should please not scrap OSPAC. If OSPAC is scrapped, I will buy my own arms to defend myself. That's all. Tony Nahoda. Well, you
don't have high sense.
I don't think
that. Be yourself up.
I don't think that's going to work out for you. On security issues in River State, a governor should leave OSPAC alone. Any security that wants help in this state, governor will stop them. Why is he stopping the security? But he's not stopping the cultists and the kidnappers. Gift says Seraika Dixon is your governor in Bayelsa State, while Nyesom Wike is my governor in Rivers. Why are you people dragging governor?
It's the contest of
I don't think Gift is dragging up, but of course Gift is always very passionate about what's happening here in Rivers State. I don't see why that's
and there's nothing wrong with it.
Bayelsa and Rivers State used to be one state, so I mean from here to Bayelsa it's just a couple of minutes. He should be interested. Employ ex-militants into security jobs now. This is from Jerry Ogan. Will that help to employ ex-militants into security jobs?
I don't know. No.
All right. Annie, the moment a group came out, let me take this one and I'll take one last one, it's gone. The moment a group came out a few weeks ago to suggest that some vigilante groups are not trained and professionals, I knew there's going to be an onslaught against OSPAC. There's no doubt that OSPAC has ruffled some feathers, especially the incident at Rumuji. Be assured the government and the police will move against its activities in the next few weeks. Rather unfortunate considering the successes they have achieved. Alfred, you sent that in from Port Harcourt. And I have one or two I'll take from WhatsApp now. Let me see if I can do that while I wait for. I'll wait for take a call while I wait for that. Hello, today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name?
Okay, my name is Louis, calling from Rupoku.
Louis from Rupoku. Go ahead.
Okay, also good morning to everyone in the studio.
Good morning to you.
Okay, first of all, this program of amnesty, I'm not in support of amnesty for one day because it's like treating criminals. It's like having a child at home who stole 100 naira and you caught him red-handed. You want to say, my son, you stole 100 naira, okay, take 15 and give me 15 naira. It's like treating them. It's high time we stand on Facebook face to face. We have all Niger Delta people. If all of us in Niger Delta to go and look for amnesty, government cannot pay us. They can't pay us. So it's penalty paying or paying some. So I think the Irish should be dropped. It should be dropped. Because I cannot see a young boy who is not doing anything. With 3 AK in his house. What is he doing with it? You don't call it amnesty now. And the funny thing is that when they're going for amnesty now, they don't look for their grandparents gone. They're using something and brush it and paint it to black. I'm going to collect 100,000 from government. It's an amnesty program. What amnesty is that? I do use this gun at night to disturb others or not. Well, I'm not going to don't have it. Or it's really a crime that you don't have it. It's not a crime. So if we don't have it, we have every right to sleep and wake up in peace, not in pieces. So if the government have woke up to fight them, let them fight them with full force. The government, they should fight them.
Okay. Thank you very much. We got your thoughts there. Annie, do people expect Osinbajo to demarket? I think I read that from the text message portal. Hector says the government solution to problems sometimes is usually as bad as the problems. I think we're running out of idea and security issues in this part of the world. Good morning, Hector S. Christopher. You send that in. Integrating OSPAC with the neighborhood watch is the best than leaving them to indirectly be controlled. This question goes to Ogaima, who knows both witchcraft power and God's power. Please, is our vice president still a pastor? Because I don't understand his tongue in the past 4 years now. Ogaima, explain. Michael Newmold, why don't you ask the person in particular?
My name is not
exactly.
Osinbajo.
So you should ask Osinbajo if he's still a pastor. Good morning, Annie, Ima, and others in the studio. I'm Nonye from Umuoba in Omoma local government area. Governor Wike to disband OSPAC. Well, it's not disband. Like, the way I'm seeing it now is as if he is giving an order to disband OSPAC. No, he said that it will be reintegrated into the neighborhood watch, and he says that going on, of course, there won't be encouragement of local government vigilante groups. Rather, anybody who wants to help the state security apparatus, they should find themselves working with the neighborhood safety corps. So it's not as if he has gone ahead and disbanded OSPAC. I guess by the time the neighborhood safety comes on board fully, OSPAC will find herself reintegrated into that system. Well, you went on to say proper investigation should be done in the death of the said young man that was killed by OSPAC because it's too early to complain about OSPAC and its activities. Let OSPAC conduct its activities and operations in a way to give relief to the people of the state. From Donye, Moba or Muma local government area. We've got to go. Thank you so much for everybody else. Fine Face to nominate Fine Face.
Yeah, we've done our bits. We've analyzed these issues and through light make suggestions on what needs to be done. And I think that the governor should do more in the area of security like he is doing. I remember remaining just about 2 days now to a month after he declared the emergency on sanitation. I believe that in the days ahead, when he finishes forming his cabinet, we'll be able to have them sit down to discuss these and related issues to tackle the security issues in the state. It's just very, very key if we must move forward. Then the issue of Osinbajo and the comment about this, nobody should expect him to say that Nigeria is worse and agree with the people that this issue they are talking about is perfectly true. He has to look for a way to play around it and then come back home to take steps to address the problem.
All right, and thank you so much. Fine Face, Fine Face, public affairs analyst and WhatsApp spokesman Daniel Momo.
Yes, for me, whichever way it goes in River State, I think the would-be vigilante should be a proper profiling, because you heard some callers made mention of the fact that there are some cultists who are, so proper profiling is required before anyone will be admitted to become a vigilante person in River State.
All right, then. Thank you so much. Emmanuel Ndukwe, that was Daniel Momo. Remember, you can follow him on Twitter at Dan_Momo. Emmanuel.
Well, Siba just stated it correctly. I never heard any exaggeration. I don't know where people dug up exaggeration from. Wherever they did, Siba just said, yes, they exist kidnapping, But some of it are just in stories and motivated by politics.
All right, then. This is where we wrap up on the show. Thank you so much for being part of it. We'll see you again tomorrow to make it a date. Coming up is Entertainment Express. I am Annie Abdul Salam.
Nigeria is more than a geographical expanse of land spreading from the north down to the south. Nigeria is the people that live in it. You are Nigerian. I am Nigeria. We are Nigeria. Nigeria gets better when we do. And there is no limit to the little things we could all do to make Nigeria a country we will be proud to call our own. Little things that matter, done for the love of Nigeria, is all we need to make Nigeria better and greater. This message is powered by Today 95.1.
Do you want to increase your earning capacity trading in the financial market? Hantec Global, a leading regulated fintech company with over 27 years industry experience, can teach you how. Our expert facilitators, using our forward-thinking educational model, will guide you through how to trade successfully in commodities, indexes, and currency markets. For more info, send your name, space, location to 0805-690-5612 via SMS. Send your name, space, location to 0805-690-5612 via SMS, and one of our professionals will reach out to you. Hantec Global, trust through transparency. It's indeed a wonderful day right here in the city of Lagos, and of course it's time for us to talk about issues that affect our financial existence, our financial sustainability, and of course our financial prowess. As usual, with me to discuss this is Mr. Mike Fowope, and of course he's come with a team of extraordinary individuals who will help us look into the many possibilities of making money and sustaining money. It is Hantec Global, and it's time for us to get interactive. Yeah. Good to have you, Mr. Mike Fowope.
Thank you.
All right, so today we're going to be looking at the usual, but of course we're going to be talking about other things. But I would like for you to tell us, who is Hantec Global and what is Hantec Global all about?
Okay, a very good one. Hantec Global is a financial technology company that started in Hong Kong 28 years ago. And basically what we do, we provide opportunity for people to make money. That's what we do. We provide opportunity for people to make money. And how do we do that? Basically in two ways. Number one, we connect people to the largest financial market in the world. That's one. Then also we provide free professional training for people who wants to learn how to trade into the FX markets. So we've been doing this, like I said, for 28 years in all the continents in the world. And apart from doing that, we also understand that in business, we've done everything we have to make sure that our clients, they have trust in what we do. Okay. So for that, we have different regulations, in different jurisdictions. So for instance, in Japan, we are regulated by Japanese Financial Services, regulated there. Okay. We are also regulated in New Zealand, where we have a physical presence. We are also regulated in New Zealand. In London, where we have a physical presence, we are also regulated there. We are also regulated in Jordan, where we have a physical presence. regulations. In Africa, Mauritius is our regulation. So wherever we go, we make sure we get the the regulation covering that jurisdiction, so that our clients can have confidence in what we do. So basically, like I said, Hantech Global is a financial technology company that gives access to people to trade on the largest financial market in the world.
That's amazing. Now, you mentioned something earlier while you were trying to explain who or what Hantech Global is all about. You said something about FX, which is foreign exchange. Now, what is foreign exchange market, and what's the market all about, and how does it affect the economy?
Okay, fine. Before I go into that, basically, I would like to explain what we do locally.
Okay.
The FX market, actually, it's buying into foreign currencies.
Okay.
And locally, I'll give you an example, a very good one, and that's the dollar and naira.
Okay.
So we know that dollar against naira has an exchange rate. I think it's 360
as of today.
Yeah, and we also know that the rate fluctuates, right? Now, that fluctuation gives opportunity for people to make money.
Okay.
For instance, if I have a know-how that US against naira is going to get to 375, for instance, all I have to do is to buy dollar. Keep it. So let's assume I bought, say, $100 at 360. So that's 36,000 naira.
Yes.
So maybe in another 1 week, if my forecast is right, and dollar gets to 375. So the same dollar that I bought at 360, so I go to bureau de change, the malam that sold to me, I give it to him at 375. So my initial capital that was 360 was have increased to what? 37,500. That's exactly what we do. But remember, I said something that if I have a know-how, so in the online market, it's the same thing we do.
Okay.
So we provide the platform where people can trade foreign currencies. That's the FX market. Now, I said something that if I have the know-how, the know-how is when it's good for me to buy and make profits.
Okay.
So apart from giving us the platform to trade, we also teach people freely in our various seminars, classes across the nation.
I was even going to ask you that as a question.
Exactly, across the nation, how to buy and sell into the forex market, making money. And we do this free of charge as a way of empowering people, taking people out of poverty.
I want to believe that this is a market you cannot go into blindly, or else you would lose.
Exactly.
This is interesting. Now, what do people really stand to benefit from this training? Yes, you did mention that it would give you a technical know-how, but is that all? Is it just the know-how that you will get?
Yeah, the know-how must be translated to making money.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
So the benefit is you make extra income.
Okay.
You know, and I keep telling people that this is something anybody can do. We have the resources to do this.
Okay.
Almost everybody has a smartphone.
Okay.
Any phone that you can use to chat with your WhatsApp, is it pinging, right? Do Facebook. It's the same phone you are going to use to trade.
Okay.
And then also the same data that you are using to browse is the same data you will use to trade online. Okay? And this is something anybody can do. Sometimes while driving, I have a driver. So while my driver is driving me to any place, maybe should I say for a meeting, I'm trading.
Maximizing all the time
I'm telling you, because I have a mobile phone.
Okay.
And on that mobile phone, I can trade. So if I'm in the office working, doing 9 to 5, I can also trade. You understand? Yes. And that is what we do to teach people how to trade using what they have already. You understand? To make money with.
All right, so talking about maximizing your time, do not touch that dial, because when we come back, we will continue with the rest of the conversation. It's still Hantech Global, and we are learning how to make and sustain money. Do you want to increase your earning capacity trading in the financial market? Hantec Global, a leading regulated fintech company with over 27 years industry experience, can teach you how. Our expert facilitators, using our forward-thinking educational model, will guide you through how to trade successfully in commodities, indexes, and currency markets. For more info, send your name, space, location to 0805-690-5612 via SMS. Send your name, space, location to 0805-690-5612 via SMS, and one of our professionals will reach out to you. Hantec Global, trust through transparency. All right, you're welcome back, and it's still Hantec Global. We are talking money, and we're not just talking how to make it, but also how to keep it. This lovely day, we're going to be having a follow-up conversation to what Mr. Mike Fope said earlier before we went on a break, and he was talking about, the financial market, the FX trading, how it's done locally, and how to maximize your time in trading on the internet. And this is something that you can get, from the know-how exercise. And the know-how exercise is basically training. That's what we're saying. You will be trained. Now, we do have Obi Agwonye, who's going to tell us more about the training processes. Could you just break it down for us? What is it like to be trained, by Hantec Global?
Okay, now our training process, it contains a very unique technique that even if you don't have access or you've never traded in this market before, as long as you've been trained by Hantec, you'll be able to go and, you get it right. Now, we understand that a lot of people come into this market with a mindset that, okay, it's a market where you can kill it, but they really don't understand the rudiments in it. So what the training will do is give you a better understanding on how to go about it, how to trade in this market, because the training that you'll be getting from Hantec, it'll be the ultimate training to just take you down that path. We'll train you on how to analyze global market to the best of your knowledge, so you can discover how on your own you'll be able to create wealth for yourself, how to delve into the most effective currency pairs. Because
basically you're not just thinking local, you're thinking global.
Yeah, it's because like we said, it's a global market, like my Oga said, it's a global market. So anybody that is coming into this market will train them on how to understand each currency pair, because like he said, it's trading one international currency for another. Because if you don't have knowledge of each currency pair, well, it's like you're just going through a road without a direction. So what we'll do is train you on how to know if the market is buying or selling. It's a dynamic market.
Okay, Obi, who are those people that can be trained?
Anybody, as long as you're of the age from 18.
So I don't need to know mathematics.
You don't need to know
how to solve almighty formula.
You don't need to know maths.
Okay.
As long as you have your phone, you have a laptop, or you have a pad and an iPad, or which of the gadgets you have. As long as you have all these, you'll be able to enter the market. As long as you know how to maneuver into that's the system, you'll be able to trade in this market. And then we can train you on how to manage your own trading portfolio. Because people go into this market with a mindset that, okay, fine, the market is big, they really don't understand, but Hantec will give you the training that you deserve, so that at the end of the day, you'll be able to create wealth for yourself.
Now, how do I attend this class? If I am someone now who's really interested, if I'm someone who's interested in being a part of this training, how do I attend this?
No, it's very simple. Now, if you want to learn how to make extra income trading into the FX market, all you need to do is to send your name. Actually, we have should I say 2 sessions, Fridays and Saturdays. Fridays and then Saturday, where we expose people to the opportunity in the FX market. So it's simple. So if you're interested for Friday class, which starts around 10 o'clock, right? 10 o'clock. All you need to do is to send your name, space F. F stands for Friday. So that means you attend the Friday class. So this number, 0805 690 5612. It's simple. All you need to do to attend our free classes for Fridays, it's all you need to do is send your name, space F, to this number, 0805 690 5612. And then if you are not chanced on Fridays, but you want to attend for Saturday section, it's simple. All you need to do is to send your name space S. S stands for Saturdays to this number 0805 690 5612. I repeat, send your name space S to this number. X stands for Saturday 0805 690 5612, and then you will be taught on how to take advantage of this market freely.
Wow. The key word there is free. And this is one awoof when they run belly. So I enjoin you to seize this opportunity, take advantage of this golden opportunity. And it's been interesting having this conversation today, but do not touch that dial, because we'll be back again very soon to, take us deeper into what we stand to benefit, how we can make this money, how we can be trained accordingly, and of course, what we can do to avoid us losing money in the financial market. It's a big market, like Obi did say, but Mike Forpe did also say that if you know how to go into the market, you come out with all the money. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back same time, same station. God bless.
Do you want to increase your earning capacity trading in the financial market? Hunter Global, a leading regulated fintech company with over 27 years industry experience, can teach you how. Our expert facilitators, using our forward-thinking educational model, will guide you through how to trade successfully in commodities, indexes, and currency markets. For more info, send your name, space, location to 0805 690 5612 via SMS. Send your name, space, location to 0805 690 5612 via SMS, and one of our professionals will reach out to you. Hunter Global, trust through transparency.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people. Radio has never been this good. Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Harcourt, are you ready? Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
The situation is critical. The issues are diverse.
You see, courtesan in quote is the surname of all other criminalities. But this year, courtesan has a new child known as banditry.
I'm sure you are aware that the 6th Division of Nigeria Army is court-martialing some of its officers for being involved in kidnapping.
There is a consciousness that is going on that if you are into this thing, you become a supreme being.
The whole criminality we are seeing, especially as they occur in River State, they revolve around country.
So what if you are volunteering information to an accomplice?
In seeking a solution, the Today FM Anti-Cultism Summit comes up on the 6th of July, time 9 a.m. Keynote speakers are Amalpu Senibo Bobo Sophie Brown, Professor Chief Andrew Efemini, Retired Colonel Owunda, Professor Austin Sadu, and Ken Henshaw of We the People. Also on the table will be representatives of stakeholders and the various organs of influence that can help deal with the stemming tide of cultism. Keep the date, 6th of July 2019, 9 a.m. Let's fight cultism together.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Breakfast at Tiffany's and bottles of bubbles. Girls with tattoos who like getting in trouble. Lashes and diamonds, ATM machines. Buy myself all of my favorite things. Been through some bad shit, I should be a savage. Who would've thought it turned me to a savage? Rather be tied up with calls and not strings. Write my own checks like I write what I sing. My wrist, stop watching. My neck is flossy. Make big deposits. My gloss is popping. You like my hair? Gee, thanks. Just bought it. I see it. I like it. I want it. I got it. Yeah, I want it. I got it. 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 Yeah, you like of your problems. Must not have had enough money to solve them. They say which one, I say nah, I want all them. Happiness is the same price as red bottoms. My smile is beaming, my skin is gleaming. The way it shine, I know you seen it. I bought a crib just for the closet, both his and hers. I want it, I got it, 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 I want it, I got it. You like my hair? Gee, thanks, just bought it. I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it. My receipts be looking like phone numbers. If it ain't money, then wrong number. Black card is my business card. The way it be setting the tone for me. I don't need a brag, but I be like, put it in the bag, yeah. When you see the max, they stacked up like my ass, yeah. Shoot, go from the south to the booth, make it all back in one loop. Give me the loot, never mind, I got the juice. Nothing but never we shoot. Look at my neck, look at my neck. Ain't got enough money to pay me respect. Ain't no budget when I'm on the set. If I like it, then that's what I get, yeah. I want it, I got it, I want it, I got it, I want it, I got it, I want it, I got it. You like my hair? Gee, thanks, just bought it. I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it, yeah.
It's the agent.
I send you friend request, you know not accept. You see my message, girl, and you know fi deny it. What do you do me? I know fi forget. Some women are wicked, some women are wicked. Yeah. Sugar baby sweet only when money dey. But I know get money now, but I gon' get one day. Yeah. If you know and do, then let me know. 'Cause I know fi postpone my love. I know go fi postpone my love. My money no day, I dey. When you dey young guy, I dey. When else no pay, I dey. I dey for you, I dey. Now you wanna use me to play me, oh man, away. If you leave me, I go run mad. Call me Mr. Romantic, yeah. My money no day, I dey. When you dey young guy, I dey. When else no pay, I dey. I dey for you, I dey. Now you wanna use me to play me, oh man, away. If you leave me, I go run mad. Call me Mr. Romantic, yeah, yeah. For you, I did it. For you, I did it. For you, yeah. For you, I did it. For you, I did it. For you.
Baby, make I explain, baby. I know I'm so far, I ain't run a jackpot, baby. No be say me, I know love you, I want you, but I dey wait, make you hammer. Please forgive me. I love you, oh, as well, baby. Forgive me. I know me waiting, I do you, so forgive me. I want day for you every day, oh my baby, oh my baby.
My money no day, I dey. When you dey young guy, I dey. When else no pay, I dey. I dey for you, I dey. Now you wanna use me to play me, oh man, away. If you leave me, I go run mad. Call me Mr. Romantic, yeah. My money no day, I dey. When you dey young guy, I dey. When else no pay, I dey. I dey for you, I dey. Now you wanna use me to play me, oh man, away. If you leave me, I go run mad. Call me Mr. Romantic, yeah, yeah. For you, I did it. For you, I did it. For you. For you, yeah. For you, I did it. For you, I did it. For you.
No be say me, I know love you, I want you.
Boombox, yeah, yeah.
Johnny Magaragi.
Love, I'm at a party I don't wanna be at, and I don't ever wear a suit and tie. Wondering if I can sneak out the back. Nobody's even looking me in my eyes. Can you take my hand, finish my drink, say shall we dance? Hell yeah. You know I love you, did I ever tell you? You make it better like that. Don't think I fit in at this party. Everyone's got so much to say. Yeah, I always feel like I'm nobody. Who wants to fit in?
Exclusive to JohnBiz.com.
Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad things disappear. You're making me feel that maybe I am somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. Cause I don't care as long as you just hold me near. You can take me anywhere. You're making me feel like I'm loved by somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. We at a party we don't wanna be at. Trying to talk but we can't hear ourselves. Pictureless, I'd rather kiss them right back. But all these people all around, I'm crippled with anxiety. But I'm told it's where I'm supposed to be. You know what? It's kinda crazy cause I really don't mind. Can you make it better like that? Don't think we fit in at this party. Everyone's got so much to say. Oh yeah, yeah. When we walked in I said I'm sorry. But now I think that we should stay. Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad things disappear. You're making me feel like maybe I am somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause I don't care as long as you just hold me near. You can take me anywhere. You're making me feel like I'm loved by somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. No, I don't like nobody but you. It's like you're the only one here. I don't like nobody but you, baby. I don't care. I don't like nobody but you. I hate everyone here. I don't like nobody but you, baby, yeah. Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad things disappear. You're making me feel like maybe I am somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. 'Cause I don't care as long as you just hold me near. You can take me anywhere. You're making me feel like I'm loved by somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News.
Very good afternoon, and this is the World News here on your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. I am Efemi Andrew. On the headlines, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says government will not permit proliferation of vigilante groups. Indigenous communities in Akokotori local government area of Rivers State protest alleged collaboration between state government and Shell Petroleum Development Company to allegedly arm twist communities into allowing resumption of operations in OML 25. Groups blast Vice President Yemi Oshibajo over comments that kidnapping stories in Nigeria were exaggerated and fueled by politics. And on the foreign scene, White House advisor Jared Kushner describes United States' plan for Middle East as opportunity of the century for the Palestinians. And now, the details. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has declared that the state government will not permit the proliferation of vigilante groups, stating that youths interested in helping to build the state security architecture should join the State Neighborhood Safety Corps agency. According to the governor's special assistant on electronic media, Simeon Nwankaudu, who made this known in a statement, Wike made this known while speaking at a brief ceremony where he received the Ekbaya traditional rulers from Auda East and Auda West local government areas at the government house in Port Harcourt on Tuesday. This came after traditional rulers of Auda East and Auda West local government areas submitted arms retrieved from repentant criminals in the area after a local amnesty program. Wike said the embargo on the proliferation of vigilante groups across the state became necessary after OSPAC from Ogba, Egbema, and the local government area started overstepping its boundaries. The governor, who pledged to reintegrate OSPAC into the State Neighborhood Safety Corps agency, directed anyone who wants to support the security structure in the state to join the State Neighborhood Safety Corps agency, as the government will not approve local vigilante from different local government areas. Governor Wike expressing displeasure that some criminals pretend to have repented only for them to renege after rearming themselves, also disclosed that the Rivers State government will no longer operate an amnesty program, as many of the criminals reneged during the first exercise. But said the government would now embark on what he termed binding over, an arrangement where if the repentant criminals reneged, the law then takes its course. While saying that the security agencies are determined to fight crime across the state, Wike commended the traditional rulers of Ekbaya land and the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly, Ehie Edison, for taking proactive action to improve security, and promised that the state government will reward the divisional police officers of Auda East and West and the Joint Task Force commander in the area, Major Wanchuku, for their roles in promoting peace and security. And Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has dissolved the State Universal Basic Education Board. According to the Special Assistant to the Governor on Electronic Media, Simeon Nwankaudu, who disclosed this in a press release, the dissolution takes immediate effect. Nwankaudu also revealed that the governor further directed members of the board to hand over all property and documents of the board in their possession to the most senior officer. And still, the governor of Rivers State has stated that the state can survive without federal government allocations if the right things are done. Governor Wike, who said this at an event marking the commencement of Turkish airline operations in Port Harcourt, thanked the federal government for allowing the investment in the state. He regretted the attitude of some Rivers elites who he said are fond of demarketing the state because of politics.
As a government, that we have always said that Rivers State is a safe place, and therefore we always will encourage investors. And for what you've done today, I want to say that the Rivers State government will partner with Turkish Airlines to make sure that business improves. Instead of people demarketing our state, they should try to see how they can help our people. Let investors come in and not to send investors away. Apart from Lagos, ordinarily, the next that should be considered in terms of other airlines to come in is Port Harcourt International Airport. Rivers State can survive on this own. We can survive on our own if things are done in the right way.
Our correspondent reports that Governor Wike promised to dualize the airport road for easy access.
And now, indigents of Belema, Fonyama, and Engeja communities of Akukutori local government area here in Rivers State have protested alleged collaboration between the state government and Shell Petroleum Development Company (SPDC) to allegedly arm twist the communities into allowing resumption of operations in OML 25. The communities insisted that they would not allow SPDC to resume operations at OML 25 in the area, adding that the communities did not benefit from 40 years of Shell's operations in the area. It would be recalled that the communities had 2 years ago shut down the OML 25 operated by Shell, insisting that SPDC must leave. Speaking in Port Harcourt during the protest, spokesman of Supreme Council of Kula Traditional Rulers, Alabo Fiala Okoye Davis, urged the state government to stop interfering and backing Shell to resume operations in OML 25, adding that they remain resolute, united, and committed to the dream of economic liberalization of their people, education of their youth, emancipation from the shackles of slavery. Expressing lack of confidence in the intervention of the state government owing to how earlier interventions turned out, he noted that the meeting being called by the state government